Welcome back to Icons 2022. Mika Fabs here, and I have here with me Hawk from Sengoku Gaming. Congratulations on your win. Now, first question, we saw you struggled a little bit with Game 2. How were you guys able to make a comeback for Game 3?
게임 2에서 약간 어려워하시는 모습을 보였는데 게임 3 때 어떻게 다시 이렇게 돌아올 수가 있었나요?
일단 상대방 조합이 계속 이제 싸움을 원하고 그냥 5명에서 먼저 몰려다니면서 자르고 싶어하는 조합을 해서 저희가 두 번째 판에서 이제 그 포킹을 하는 과정에서 이제 무리하게 더 진입을 해서 이제 그런 부분을 좀 많이 없앴어요. 세 번째 판에선.
So in game 2, the opponent team com was very much team fight oriented. All 5 players are always together trying to get picks. And we tended to be very deep in. And in game 3, we tried to eliminate those mistakes.
Great adjustment. Now, it's been a few weeks in Singapore. What's the biggest thing that you've learned, like you yourself, as for a personal thing? What's the biggest thing you've learned?
싱가포르에 와서 개인적으로 발전이 있었다면은 어느 게 가장 큰 발전일까요?
게임에 관한 거예요?
Game related or just anything?
More of like a personal thing for you. What's the biggest thing that you've learned as a player or even as a person?
플레이어로서도 좋고 아니면은 그냥 개인적으로서도 좋고.
그냥 멘탈 관리하는 멘탈이 더 강해진 것 같아요.
I think I've become much stronger mentally.
Wow, that's great. And what's even better is, of course, you have a lot of fans right now watching you guys from Fukuoka. Do you have a message to all of them out there?
시청하시는 일본 팬들을 위해서 한마디 해주실 수 있으세요?
하지미 마시테 와타시와 학 데스 and 아리가또 고자이마스.
Oh, great stuff, Ha. Congratulations once again to you and the rest of Sengoku. And back to you guys on the analyst.
A former world champion there, though in a different mobile esport, and I have to imagine that's on his mind as they do continue throughout this tournament.
And saying that he's focusing on his own mental game. They're going to need that going against RRQ. But now let's bring us to our next matchup because we're about to lose an SEA team. Our number 2 and 4 ranked seeds are taking to the stage. Buriram United took down KDF and Liberty to get here. Flash Wolves are 0-2 against any team that is not Game Lord. So how are we feeling about this matchup?
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird matchup. Buriram coming into this with a changed roster and one that looks worse. I don't know what happened to Buriram between the play-in stage, but they made a roster swap out, brought in Archony, who doesn't look like he's as coordinated with the team. And in their match 2 days ago, Buriram in fact looked weaker than they ever have before.
And it's tough position for the team to be in, for the player to be in, stepping into the group stage now where the level of competition takes a step up. And who are they competing against, Riku?
They're going to be up against Flash Wolves, and I think the light at the end of the tunnel for me
Look
is
at
that
my
they're going to be
Wait, what?
in the hand.
Is this like
That's
the win
battle
condition?
stands, battle stands before you enter the game. You know,
Sure.
for Wild Rift, baby. And that's the thing. They're also having a different roster where it's Baya in the mid lane, it's Bruce in the mid lane. They're basically swapping. They have Bruce at the bottom portion of the map, which is him basically returning to his old role back in League of Legends PC, which, it's very comfy for him. He's familiar. Again, when we watched his matches before, it's as if nothing has changed. He's still very comfortable, whether it's mid lane or bot lane. But that means you are restricted to this lane. You cannot exactly roam like a mid lane. So all that roaming will go towards Eason. And I feel like this matchup is going to be towards what's the Jess and Eason. Whoever gets to make proactive roams, proactive plays, will send them to victory.
That's it. It's Wild Rift, baby. He had
Wild
it on
Rift,
his
baby.
hand. Let's take a look at our predictions now to see what we have
Boom.
on paper as the
Boom.
winners in this match.
Oh!
Should
Oh, you got it that time.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
we're
got
all
it.
Flash Wolves.
We're still the same.
We've all been unanimous so far.
That's true.
And we've all been unanimously right.
That is also
100%
true.
so far on
Uh-huh.
the desk. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. So why are we favoring Flash Wolves particularly here? TJ, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Buriram look really bad. And maybe that'll be cleaned
Okay.
up. But things definitely look like they've fallen apart around that roster swap. We don't know why that happened, but it doesn't look great for the team. Flash Wolves look better than ever. The switch of Bruce down to the bottom lane looks really good for them.
Bruce's transition has been incredible to watch. His carry potential is very high, and that's something that Buriram's going to have to be looking out for. But Riku, why do you have Flash Wolves in particular taking this?
I have the same sentiments as TJ, basically. It is if the change is good or bad, or is it still the same? And with the change that Flash Wolves had, I feel like it doesn't necessarily make them as a weaker team. So I feel like that's them being still stable, Bruce still being able to carry the game if he's in still that Dragon lane, it doesn't change.
And of course, we do know the Flash Wolves having a little bit of a swap around as well coming into the event, but they had play-ins. They had a lot of time to scrim and iron out some of those issues. And they are a team that still looks like they can compete in this group. This group's really tough. It's kind of turned into the group of death here. Omega turned into a much bigger threat than I think we gave them credit for.
Yeah.
So you have to be looking to the future too here. You have to be in really good form right now.
It is worth mentioning both these teams are known for playing slowly. I think if they do that here today, if the winner of this match wins a very traditional match between these two teams, which is to say very slow, doesn't start really until the 10-minute mark, it's a bad sign against Omega, who demonstrated the ability to dominate the early game.
Exactly right. When we look back at the WCS, that was the playstyle of Flash Wolves. Always going slow, 20-minute games and beyond. And even once the series progresses, you do not want when you're up against Flash to reach this into a game number 3, or else they're gonna win. So Buriram has to move fast, and I feel like that's all up to what the Jess to unlock his lane, make sure he can roam, enable kills for Golden Feet, most especially.
But is that Wild Rift?
Oh, it is Wild Rift.
Yeah, I'd say it's 100% Wild Rift, baby.
For sure.
Appreciate it. This
For
is
sure, Zeke.
the big thing that I love to see. For
sure.
Okay, looks like we have some shy players up on stage. Would rather not have the camera on them right now. The thing that I'm most excited for is just, like we've been saying, the historical context of these teams dodging each other
Oh,
in
yeah.
their own regional playoffs.
Yeah, they've never met each other. That's the thing. It was Flash Wolves that remained at the upper bracket. Meanwhile, it was Buriram that remained at the lower bracket, where before Buriram had to face Flash Wolves, RQ already basically sent them home. So this is a matchup for the WCS fans who really wanted these two teams to duke it out. Here you go. It's at Icons.
And I love that we get this for the fans. Like, anybody who wanted to see this matchup in playoffs now gets to see it. The bittersweet side is that we don't get all 4 representatives from the WCS making it out, which I know is something expectations coming into the event. We were thinking, okay, WRL and WCS, there's a chance that all 4 from each region can get through. Obviously, that's not going to be the case now.
No, that's the thing. I feel like this time is going to be very bittersweet because we say goodbye to one WCS team, but we're also going to feel happy for that team, whoever's going to win, to continue their Icons journey here.
Yeah, I think for both these teams, though, you have to look at Omega as a real threat.
For sure.
Yeah.
Buriram already got blown up by them once, and so I have to go back to that. They're both known for playing slow. For Flash Wolves, you talk about that 10-minute mark. That's because they're scaling typically through Bruce at the bottom side of the map. For Buriram, it's usually because what the Jess is scaling up, getting that tank as a frontliner, and because Noel needs to get out of lane for them to find engage. So Buriram waits till the team fight phase, Flash Wolves waits until the Bruce phase, and if they continue with that playstyle, we've already seen what Omega, what other top teams in this event will do to you during those first 5 minutes. They'll take your turrets, they'll rob you of your jungle, all of that.
And so what I'm looking for is we get to see some. Oh, hey,
Bang,
here
bang,
we go.
bang.
I love the player interaction. Bam.
Bam!
The player interaction with the cameras there. My now kind of test that I want to be paying attention to going forward here for either of these teams, no matter who takes the series, is to really pay attention to those early minutes in the game, because if they will have to go up against Omega next, we know that they're very active. I want to see some proactivity in the first couple of minutes from either of these teams.
If you want proactivity, that's going to be Buriram when we look at their performance back at the WCS. They move as a triple roam unit. They send What the Jess either before Archony or Triple V to join Golden Feet, get picks around the map, get kills, get ahead, and keep doing that rinse and repeat.
And that's where we need to see a return to form. Both these teams threatening their original rosters here today. If we see a return to that coordinated play from Buriram, that's a very good sign for them. If we see Bruce in the mid lane able to carry again, that's a good sign for Flash Wolves.
That's our opinions of the match, but game 1 is about to be underway. We'll get to see which team is continuing in the group stage and which one is going home. Let's throw it over to Grandin and Omo for the cast. Bam!
Thanks, Kangas, but what I really wanted to see wasn't what I really wanted to see wasn't which team gets through. It's what was behind TJ's hand. Because I kind of have to. Okay, what's behind your hand? No, there's nothing behind your hand.
I know cards always have absolutely nothing.
TJ has something behind his hand, and I want to know what that is.
Nah, it's nothing.
Is it the result of this match? Is it
I
a
can tell
result
you
of
the result
icons?
this match.
You can tell me the results of this
I
match.
know the result of every match.
Yeah, I kind of don't
predictions have been going badly.
I kind of don't believe that. Yeah, you know.
Maybe I can't say that anymore.
Well, Flash Wolves and BRU will play out again, and we've had this matchup happen before, right? Flash Wolves and BRU is a matchup that, frankly, you know, we have some expectations for Flash Wolves here, and it's up to BRU to define those expectations and show us how well their preparations have been coming into this match.
Yeah, and coming to Icons as well, both of these teams have rosters that have been hurt for various reasons, really. Not being able to play with their full rosters. BRU today still, of course, not being able to field bank for this tournament. Their original marksman, that's still going to hurt them. But Flash Wolves, good news for them is Locking is back. That means that Bruce is going back to the mid lane. Locking, to those who don't really know what to expect from him, it's not going to be flashy.
Sure.
He's going to be extremely stable, and he's going to do a very good job in this Dragon lane.
I mean, think about what BRU, you know, what it kind of means for BRU being on this stage now. They came in through the play-ins, and this is the first time that BRU has gone into international competition. They had an incredibly unlucky run the last time while qualifying, losing 2 reverse sweep situations, failing to qualify into the international competition. This time around, BRU not only has come into play, they've also managed to make it out of play-ins as the first seed.
Yeah.
And coming into group stage, now they have to face off against long-standing rivals Flash Wolves to start things off with the Yuumi pickup.
Great start to the draft here. The Yuumi pickup, the trash being banned away. You're really targeting 2 key playmakers on the side of BRU. Of course, What the Jess, most played picks have been the trash and the Yuumi.
2
Both
key
taken away now.
playmakers, What the Jess and What the Jess.
Well,
he's got like
not
2
that
faces.
Yet. Cold and Feed too.
Oh,
the Lee Sin
okay.
and the Morgana jungle, which he showed, both being taken away here by Flash Wolves.
I thought you were gonna go with like What the Jess. He's got like the duality thing going on between
What the
between
Jess.
his between his full AP Yuumi and his Thresh. It's like 2 different
The
players.
duality of man. The 2 faces of the support player.
When I don't feel like doing too much and when I want to win the game. But the Camille and the Corky Alpha BRU kind of give us some, you know, a little bit of relief here, right? This is something that BRU has been preparing for, not something we've seen so much of, but something they have in store.
It's nothing flashy as well, right? This is a very stable start to the draft. It's very normal. It's very expected. But what kind of concerns me right now is Flash Wolves are getting what they ran for 2 games against Fun Plus Phoenix here. The Yuumi, Singed, Jax combination. This is just a run at you death ball comp that Flash Wolves are fielding yet again, and I feel like BRU might have some trouble dealing with that.
I think most teams have been having issues against the Jax.
Well, Fun
right?
Plus smashed it.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But that's Fun Plus.
That's Fun Plus. Most teams have been having difficulties dealing with the Jax, however, right? The Jax going into these late game matchups, so difficult to take down. You need so much crowd control. You need ways to get past the Counter-Strike, and very frankly, it just does so well.
Wait, what? Karma was open and made it down all the way to red side second phase. That's gonna go over to BRU, and you know what? That is a good answer to what Flash Wolves have. The AoE shielding, the team fight control. That's fantastic against a team comp that has Jax, that has Singe, that wants to run at you. Now BRU will be able to kite them back.
It is a little scary though. You have the Yuumi both for the Jax and the Singe is going to run around so quickly, deal with so many of your threats. Really curious what BRU have in store for frontline, right? Because now we've seen a Corky. Likely they still want to get some additional damage, right? And so what happens here? What does Jess end up playing?
Yeah, well, the Corky's still a flex, right? It could go mid, it could go Dragon Lane. The Karma's still a flex, it could go mid, Dragon Lane support, most likely mid or Dragon Lane. So there's still some flex options on the side of BRU, whereas Flash Wolves, their draft, they've basically shown their hand here. The bans will be rather telling of what they expect, though. I do think this Camille should be going over the Cold and Feed. That means that Noel still has to pick, and that means that Jess still has to pick.
But Flash Wolves will continue to play it safe, banning away Conan Feed's champion pool even further.
Yeah, because Noel does play Camille as well.
Exactly. You don't want to allow the Kha'Zix to. It just makes it so easy to pick up objectives, and you think about what beats the Jax, you out-tempo it. Kha'Zix can do that.
Well, if they're suspecting this right now, then Flash Wolves should also consider banning away the Olaf, because you want to get rid of the Olaf-Karma duo, and if you're talking about which junglers traditionally fare well into the Jax, Olaf is going to be another one of that. On the side of BRU, though, banning away the utility marksman here. They're not really afraid of locking Ziggs, but that's one of his most played champs.
They're removing the Ashe and Varus, take away a lot of pickup potential.
Locking's laughing right now. He might be just saying, they left my Ziggs up, guys. We can pick Ziggs here.
Ziggs and Corky is... You talk about wet noodle fights. You have high damage, but frankly it doesn't do that much. It's like
you just
limp
poke
spaghetti.
each other, but you never have lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a interesting situation to be in.
And I think Karma's pretty happy playing into Ziggs as well. The AoE shielding, the speed boost to run away from his nades. I think you're having a pretty good time here. What's the loss? Is that a misban or is that a visual bug?
We'll have to find out.
Well, the timer's stuck on 000, so... Okay, let's put ourselves into the shoes of these two teams. There we go,
It is the
Olaf
Olaf.
comes through. Yeah, I think that's the best pickup here. Maybe Flash wanted to band that away, but ran out of time on that one. Who knows? On the side of Flash Wolves, though, I feel like this might be a Ziggs angle, but Ziggs Yumi,
Man,
not
look at
the
that lighting.
best combo.
You see his axes light up when he like.
You see Ysera grooving right now? He's loving this.
That's the face of a man that knows he's gonna play Redacted.
The face of a man who has accepted his job on Darius duty for the 300th time.
Frankly, could very well be.
guaranteed.
Okay.
There we
The
go,
alternative, right? It's the Riku trifecta. It's the Renekton, the Darius, or the Garen. It's one of the
Familiar times, right?
Of
but
course.
the Garen into the Camille as well. That's gonna be a bit of a timer here. Camille gets Sunderer, Camille gets Howlbreaker, Blade of the Ruin King. She's gonna split push against you very effectively in the side lanes.
And we think about why we talk about Ysera being on tank duty. It's because of what Flash was trying to get done,
Yes.
right? Where they want to stabilize the game, and Ysera is such a big part of that.
Yeah, and Bruce, of course, he's not gonna be a big carry this time. He's gonna be playing mid lane Singed. Ah, you know what this is? You know what this is gonna be? Wait, that's not right.
Can they play the Nautilus?
I think something's not quite adding up here. They're
Sure.
bamboozling me in the draft.
Okay.
I was thinking, in the past, we have seen Locking play Dragon Lane Yumi together with a tanky support.
That's
I was
true.
thinking that's a possibility here, but I doubt they can play the Nautilus. I'm pretty sure that one's not okay, so we'll wait for them to just change things up. On the side of BRU though, last pick still yet to come true. That's likely gonna be, let me do some math in my head real quick. What the Justice pick safe for 5th pick? Support counter pick. Can it be more BRU?
To decide what they want to try and go for with that last pick. I mean, BRU still have a couple of options here. They could go for some crowd control with stuff like the set still available now, and you could try and use that to its best abilities to hold back the Jax. But it is going to be difficult.
It is. It's not going to be easy. The cinch is so annoying in the early stages of the game as well. I think right now there's two ideas available to the side of BRU. One, you can run with a tanky frontliner, someone to really just stop the cinch, stop the Jax from running to your team. Number two, you can just all in for your Olaf, try to play a support like Rakan, who really enables him very well. Just let Code and Feed set up to carry the game. I think overall, though, the main concern on the side of BRU right now is what's the pick coming in from Flash Wolves? I think that's on their mind. It's on my mind,
Sure.
too.
I mean, that will be seen in a few moments, so
Yeah.
we will leave that
Remains
for
to be seen.
remains to be seen. But on the side of BRU, I think it is worth talking a little bit about Code and Feed, right?
Yeah.
Because going into previous seasons, Code and Feed had a really lucky they had a really lucky situation where they were able to go into the competition with champions that benefited Code and Feed quite a bit.
Yeah.
Stuff like the Riven were really high up in the meta. Code and Feed was able to get away with a lot of his champion pickups, and he was really well fitted for the meta. Now as it's shifted away from that a little bit, Code and Feed has had to adapt, and we've had some good performances from him so far, but also some suboptimal performances from him.
The team as a whole, right? BRU is such a hit or miss team. They're so hot or cold. When they look good, they nearly took down Team Flash. When they kind of struggle, hopefully not against the man on your screen right now, locking with the death stare. Sometimes when BRU struggle, they get 3-0'd, right? So this is a team which has two faces. Locking is still staring at the camera, even though it's not looking at him right now. I love that.
Yeah, they don't.
I would not want to be
W.
BRU right now.
Locking W.
He's done. His eyes are soft.
I can already see the social media person going Locking W with that one. I'm calling it now. By the way, if you guys are wondering why we haven't gone into game yet, we've had an issue with the champion select. We're very quickly remaking it with the same pick and bans up until that last pick by Flash Wolves.
Yeah.
So BRU still left guessing for what the last pick is gonna be.
I'm still left guessing, Grandin. I really want to know what the situation is right now for Flash Wolves. Do they just commit to something like a Ziggs Yumi and cop the bat lane matchup? Or do they try to adapt, try to play something a bit more cheeky? This is, of course, Locking's debut on the international stage. The last few sets of games that Flash Wolves have played, Locking couldn't be here because of COVID complications, but now he's back. Bruce is back in the mid lane. Let's see what the full roster of Flash Wolves have for us. Draft is going to be the same, and let's see how that plays out.
Right, and a big part of that, right, was that when we had a chance to talk to Bruce during the WCS finals, he's mentioned, yeah, going into this one, we wanted to allow the rest of the team to also pop up and do their thing as well, and not always just rely on Bruce. one of the things that happens with Flash Wolves very often, more often than not, is when their back's against the wall, what does Bruce play? He pulls out the hyper carry again, and he go, yeah, you're gonna have to skill up for us, locking, go on Zig's duty.
Yeah.
You just need to enable Bruce in the mid lane.
Yeah, we did see some amazing performances from Bruce in the icons as well. When he's playing Xayah, when he's playing Senna, when he's playing Dragon Lane Marksman. Now going back to the mid lane, is he gonna default back to that style again? It's something he played a lot in the WCS. Lucian is banned away, so that won't be an option for him if they opt to play. Well, I don't even know why I'm talking about all this. I forgot he's on Singe duty this game. He's accepted his role to let his teammates carry here. Bruce,
Yeah,
a
someone
man of
has
his
to do
word.
it. Someone has to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
And of course, the karma again here for BRU, giving them that power with the Olaf in the jungle. Colin Feet's performance here in the mid side, along with whoever's going to be piloting the karma, is going to be a very important role in the game, getting them a hit, finding them an advantage. Noel also on this Camille. Let's talk a little bit about what happens here between Noel and Ysera, right? Ysera, we know, has been a stable laner. He's been someone that
He hasn't been very stable. He's
sure,
had some
that's
iffy moments.
that's your opinion. That's your opinion, right?
Yeah.
And I'll let you guys kind of break that one down. Whereas we looked over towards Noel's side with BRU, you know, these guys have gone into the competition for quite a while. Noel has had to make that move towards the top side now for quite a while, and so he's gotten quite comfortable there. I'm looking forward to see how this one plays out.
Oh, okay, so the Olaf was banned away, kind of like we expected.
Oh.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay,
That
there
means
we go.
BRU won't
That-
get that.
that
So what
answers-
adaptations do they make here? Yeah,
That
it answers the questions that we have, right? Do they now opt to put the Camille in the hands of Coden Feet? He has played something like Fiora in the past. He has played Riven, like you mentioned. He's played Irelia, debuted at this tournament as well. These are all options here for him. But instead, BRU are going to say, you know what? You ban away our Olaf. We're going to snatch away your Garen. That is, of course, a flex pick between Noel and Archony.
Yeah, still available on both sides.
Yeah.
And so not giving away that much more information. Flash will really have to determine what kind of matchup they want to go into it with. The Singe is quite difficult to hold down though, so you know that is one of the benefits. I think Garen has actually been one of the most favorite matchups against the Singed.
People have been liking this matchup a lot, and for good reason, right? We said that BRU need the frontline tank to block the advances of the Singe off the Jax. Garen's gonna be great at doing that, and locking, he's back. First time on the international stage, he's gonna be playing the Marksman here. That's gonna be Xayah Yuumi lane coming in for Flash Wolves.
Of course, the Darius once again. So I was right, you know, it wasn't even the Garen, it was the Darius. Darius redacted.
Darius indeed. What does Noel opt to answer with here? Ooh, Coden Feet is
Wow.
gonna debut an Echo pickup for himself.
BRU with the Echo,
Wow.
giving them more damage in the jungle. A very interesting choice.
Yeah.
Flash Wolves, a lot of single target pickoff. You have the upper hand, you have the shoulder fling.
Man,
Might be-
this is...
Is this Bruce with the...
Yeah,
Bruce
that
with the
sounds
Xayah?
about right. That
This
sounds
makes
like
this
Flash
makes sense.
Wolves.
Locking with the Singe then, and then you have Bruce with the Xayah. All right.
Now, Locking's been famous in the WCS for playing long-range artillery champions. Ziggs, Varus, to name a few. Singe is a complete 180 from that, so let's see how he does on this new pickup. We'll have to go in game and
He's
see,
gonna
of course.
toss he's gonna toss the super adhesive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true. That is a long-range spell.
That's a long-range spell. That's his main job.
He just thinks adhesive equals satchel charge, and he's good to go.
Well, there we go.
Easy.
He's good with satchel charges.
He's great.
Yeah. So hopefully we get to see that transition work well and easily here for Flash Wolves. I mean, Flash Wolves in a pretty good spot, right? They had a tough first opponent. Buriram had a difficult opponent here as well, but you know, not with the same roster. And now they've gone back towards Archony in the mid lane. Same could be said for Flash Wolves, in all honesty.
Well, Flash Wolves back to the same roster, but trying out some new tricks. Something we've said about Flash Wolves for a while now is that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, Flash Wolves in this game are trying to surprise us, are trying to surprise BRU, who are trying to hype themselves up as well.
All right, I won't be able to find out what's behind TJ's hands, but maybe I can find out what's behind Flash Wolves' hands as they go into a first match with Flash Wolves and BRU. Winner gets to continue, loser eliminated. Sounds like a story from WCS again.
Yeah, so this is pretty much exactly what we expected, right? It is going to be Bruce playing the Dragon Lane carry, going to be playing the Marksman. He said, I had a good time playing this when you were on hiatus locking, so let's run it back here. And that's a bit scary to me, Grandin. If you look at the win conditions of these two teams.
Immediate exhaust against Triple V, and Flash Wolves looking to try and set themselves up for a strong lane to start.
Yeah, well, dominance has definitely been exerted here from the Flash Wolves Dragon Lane duo, but exhaust was committed, like you mentioned. Let's try to break this one down a bit, because this is a very interesting draft from both of these teams. Flash Wolves, 2 clear win cons. Bruce on the Dragon Laner. Oh man, not again.
An aggressive move from Flash Wolves, zoning BRU off the wave. You can start to see the power of the Xayah Yuumi combo early on.
every time they trade, they burn a sum, but they're happy with that because that's getting them lane control here. Now, Flash Wolves, would you let me talk about the comms, please?
I mean, feel free. Go ahead.
Okay.
You know, what's the worst that could happen?
Double kill in the bot lane?
Well, we'll catch you in retro.
Well, right now, Triple V has already been forced off the wave. Jazz has been forced off the wave too. Let's talk about the comms. Okay, no more trading for now, guys. Cookie and Bruce, they're going to be the two main win conditions. Ysera, as well as Locking, are going to be leading the charge. They're going to be utility starting the fight here. And this is the Flash Wolves Classic, right? They've been doing this for a while now with Bruce in the Dragon Lane. Force their opponents off the wave.
Doing a good job zoning them out. BRU, frankly, have no business in the bot side anymore. You can just watch as the shielding does too much work against them. RNG starts to run in. It's going to get knocked back, hit here by the counter-strike. Not going to go get stunned here, but the parallel conversion is coming through from Golden Feet as he makes his way to the bottom end. Will not be able to find the lockdown onto Flash Wolves. They back up.
Iffy trades on both sides of the map, but so far, Flash Wolves coming up on top. On the flip side, though, BRU, what are your win conditions here, right? We always say Jazz as a roaming player, I guess, a roaming fight starter for the side of BRU. He's been essential for them in starting off fights, getting leads, making things happen in general. Now in the Karma, he won't quite be able to do that. Oh, okay, Ysera trades Flash aggressively.
Yeah, flashing in to block the hook shot. He had the level 5, and so Noel had to flash away unless he get caught by the ultimate from Ysera. I mean, frankly, quite an impressive display of mechanics. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What were you saying about Ysera again?
He just flashed the block hook shot. That's not fancy.
That's good. That's solid Wild Rift.
Spoken like a true admiral. Back to the drop here on the side of BRU. We talked about what the Jazz. Look at the top side of the map. Archery's not really going to be doing anything on this Garen. Karki's going to take a while to scale up, and Triple V's never really been the main carry focus of the team anyway. But Noel and Golden Feet, the top half of the map. Camille, Echo, they need to pop off here.
BRU looking for an entry, looking for something to start this one off. Bruce gets caught here by the stun. They respond back on the Triple V. Triple V has to flash away, taking damage once again from Eason.
So aggressive. Bruce and Eason, they know the limits. They play up in your face, and they just trade in a 2v2 situation. Yet again, they take the flash from Triple V.
And you can see here, Triple V's have to start with the Executioner's Call and try and prevent and cut as much of the healing through from Eason as possible. But even then, BRU having a difficult time trying to hold their own in this matchup, constantly shoved in on the turret.
And it's not getting any easier, I can tell you that. Bruce has the BF Sword. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Eason has the book as well. He's going to be getting more mana back as he keeps trading. Man, this is just not pleasant to look at.
No, absolutely not. Triple V running low on health and mana. You can start to see Flash Wolves. Not only are they taking an advantage in the bot side, it's now amounted to something quite tangible, right?
Yeah.
That 500 gold difference really starting to show through, especially in the bot side.
But a large part of the reason why you pick Koki, a large part of his power comes from the package as well. That's available in base, but Triple V not opting to pick that one up yet. We're going to see some lane swaps. BRU saying we want to assert mid priority now. We're not really winning the side lane anyway, so we might as well go to mid, get some push there while we can. But of course, Flash Wolves, they are going to answer in kind.
It is interesting to see nothing really happening so far, or no one being able to punish the other. Respawn coming up in about half a minute, and so we get to see both teams trying to move back, reset, come back into the fight. Package looking to be picked up here by Triple V, but he's been cancelled. That's timing messed up.
Yeah, the timing's a little bit messed up, and it's going to get cancelled again. No, no, no. You can't be affording to make mistakes like this. Just take the extra seconds to walk a little bit further away. Now the timing's truly messed up, by the way.
But
look at that again!
Trying to rush in here.
Okay, but that's worth because you burn to the skies. That's such a key part of Xayah's team fighting kit. Triple V will not have the package though, so both Dragon Laners kind of messing up the spells here.
The Feather Storm gone here for Bruce, so it's going to be difficult here, but he get a knockback onto Archie. Archie's had to flash away.
That's big. No flash on the Garen. He's vulnerable. Karma no out.
But look at the angle here from Noel. Noel has the flanks, but he's been spotted out. They have the control wall. They know where he's coming in from. He's going to go on to Bruce. But the rest of his team is so far away. There's no way they can get back in time. Using the Yuumi ultimate, they managed to hold down Noel, get the lockdown. That's the first kill coming through. Resets come across. A triple kill already here for Ysera. They finally take him down, but not before BRU lose 4.
Oh, Ysera, he smelt the pentakill as well, Grandin. It was so close, nearly got the reset there. But BRU, Flash Wolves, both of these teams looking a bit disconnected right now, but BRU definitely worse off. Noel went in, got the flank, engaged on Isaiah, who had no out, but you look at the rest of BRU, they already left the fight.
I mean, a good idea in concept. As we take a look at a Coca-Cola pop-off again, Noel was over by the back, had the flank angle, but look how far away the team
BRU has
is.
fled the scene of the crime. They are out, they are gone, and Noel goes in. Miscommunication clear there from the side of BRU to start things off in game one. Not a promising sign. And
Ooh,
Ysera,
Ysera.
he knew the Penta was coming. And to be fair, it was very close to happening as well.
The Ignite, the only thing stopping him, frankly,
Yeah,
I think if he got the heal off his Decimate, that was definitely going to be a pentakill.
You know, I think if Eason was on him, maybe he got it anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, Rift Herald gonna force BRU back to the mid lane.
They need to try and respond to this first before they can go over to the Dragon. BRU
Oh, they're getting chunked out by Bruce and Eason.
do manage to stop the Rift Herald, but they've lost quite a bit of control in the process.
They have, and now that's likely just gonna be the Dragon going over to the side of Flash Wolves. BRU, they want to contest, they're looking to contest, but two members have just left the base, Grant.
Redemption comes down, ultimates up for both sides. Parallel convergence as Cold Feet dashes
No
in.
steal.
Dragon still goes over the Flash Wolves once again. The final chapter out from Eason as Eason holds BRU in place, unable to step forward, unable to find a kill. Bruce locked down now, Jess giving them the angle. Archie finally finds something back for BRU, but still, you have no means to take down Ysera, cannot stop him from running you down. But
Golden
Golden Feet
Feet.
proves me wrong as he dashes back in. Bruce now isolated, facing off against 3 on
It's all
BRU, but they
Bruce.
have no HP. So they fight back, and Bruce, with the feathers, nearly takes down Triple B, but happy with the pickups.
Nearly takes down the whole squad from the side of BRU as well. And yet again, another disconnected attempt from Buriram to start a fight, to contest the Dragon. Flash Wolves, they're working so well as a unit. Just play around Captain Bruce, and he will deliver. That's the new identity of Flash Wolves. Boys are working for them.
Mid-bot doesn't matter, Bruce comes into play.
Yeah, and you look at this right now. It's a
How low is
3v5
Sked, actually?
attempt from BRU. It starts off about as well as it could, considering that it's a 3v5. Package timing being off from Triple B here. Kinda bad, because if he had package, this might have gone the other way. And you look at this. Bruce, once he sets up the feathers, it's all him.
We also see Locking coming to quite...
Yeah, the flip goes the wrong way.
Well, he does have a pretty impactful Mega Adhesive.
Yeah.
That stops Archie from being able to step away. Gets them to kill onto the Garen, doesn't give them a chance to reset with a frontliner.
And now the gold lead. 5,000 here on the side of Flash Wolves. Not game-ending, but pretty massive, all things considered. Mountain Dragon in their pocket. The infinite scaling basically coming in from the Yuumi, from the Jax as well. That's going to be very scary for the side of BRU to deal with. And now Flash Wolves posturing towards the top lane, but I don't think they're committing for a play here.
Oh, well, Konochi's gone for the Rod of Ages. It's going to take him a while before he gets really strong.
I think it's I'm actually not sure about that one, right? When we see players like Long build the Echo, it's always Lich Bane. You want to go in, you want to pop people out. This Rod of the Ages will give Golden Feet a bit more survivability, and he's expecting a long game against Flash Wolves, which isn't wrong. But I'm not sure about this pickup.
We'll have to see if Flash Wolves are able to punish them, close out the game before that happens, but with the Jax and with so many late game scaling options, frankly,
he's
you
gonna
don't
get
need to
flipped.
take that risk. Archie quickly flashes away, back under turret. Flash Wolves with 4 to the bottom side.
Yeah, good call right there. He knew he was going to get flipped. He knew he had to do something. BRU, they want to trade. They want to do something, but no options on the map here. Ysera happy to just hold the turret. No, that's not a promising sign for BRU, is it?
Well, it did stop the recall from Ysera.
Job done.
Job done.
Mission accomplished. We got him, boys.
All right, packing up. We're calling it a day. We got it, boys.
All right, you hear the klaxon sounding. That's going to be the Cocky coming in with the package. Rift Herald's going to be spawning. Noel would not have flash for this engagement here. What's the play for BRU? Because every time they want to contest an objective, Bruce and Eason have established mid-control, poked them off the wave, completely have not given BRU any breathing room.
And Eason, I think, we're starting to see him ramp up quite a bit as well. Just may
Yes.
popularize the AP Yuumi, but Eason has made it his own. Flash Wolves position around the Reptile. BRU
dying
looking for
so
an entry
quick.
back in.
BRU want to fight this.
The Wells again on the flank. They move on to the Reptile.
stole it.
This time stolen away by Golden Feet, but they're looking for a catch onto Archie. At least one kill for the
Where's the
efforts.
package?
Won't be able to find much more beyond that. Triple B uses the package to start moving away. Golden Feet dodges away from the stun of Eason.
We said you need a brick wall to deal with the flips, to deal with the jacks. Garen kind of is that brick wall, but in a situation like this where he has no items, Howlbreaker in the midst of his team, not going to be very effective. He has components of a Black Cleaver as well. He can't do too much. Once he gets flipped, he is gonna die, especially when you consider that Bruce has a Storm Racer and an IH. Code of Feet says, you know what? Let me just get all the gold. I'm the carry right now.
Yeah, if Code is able to get some damage, they could genuinely find a way back into this.
The win condition right now for BRU is simple. Code has to get enough items that he can go in, force Bruce's to the skies in one combo, and then take a team fight after that.
His Feather Stomp.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
I feel like you're gonna confuse people at this rate.
His Feather Stomp
Yes.
in one combo, and then get out of there,
Wonderful.
and then take the team fight afterwards.
Exactly. That's the game plan.
But you got to consider everything that was committed at the Dragon fight here. BRU do not have the package available for the Dragon fight. It's going to be an Inferno as well. The two most impactful Drakes, arguably, not arguably, the two most impactful Drakes in the game. And Flash Wolves are setting up to get both of them.
Yeah, BRU are trying to top up a little bit of HP in the mid side with the Redemption, but having
working
used
very
that
well.
Archony again very quickly, losing his health bar.
Bruce is just so aggressive when he has a lead. He knows how much space he can take, and he takes every inch of that space. He's up in your face, chunking you up. How often do you see a marksman being the one to staunch you for space?
BRU once again see Noel over by the side looking for a flank angle, but as that happens, you have no one that can punish Bruce, no one that can dive onto the Xayah and force him to pop his ultimate.
Well, right now, this is looking to me like yet another objective going over to the side of Flash Wolves, but BRU are posturing to contest, but they're so late.
Picking up some health once again, they move into the Dragon Pit, will go over the Flash Wolves. Again, a fight breaks out, locking taken down here.
That's
Archie
one.
comes in, gives them the kill, but the response isn't going to be strong enough. Transcendent Embrace out from what the Jets, but they will not be able to save Noel here.
They won't be able to save Noel. Kodenfi once more.
Parallel
He's stuck.
conversions over by the back. Sarah heals up so much HP. That's the power of Eason. That's the power of the Yuumi. BRU forced back by Flash Wolves.
Regardless of how this game goes, Grandin, I think we can all agree that we will not be seeing Yuumi in the next game. Eason and Bruce have been so effective with this dual pickup from laning phase to mid game.
BRU need to find some way to respond to this. They made the early call for the Executioner's call, and despite that, the
Doesn't
Grievous
matter.
wounds, not enough.
Yeah, not quite enough. You only deal with half the power of Yuumi. She has the Luden Zako. She's going for the death cap. She's still going to be chunking you out. She's still going to be healing a teammate. She's still going to be shielding. Look at
Bruce aggressively
Look at
moving
Bruce.
forward. He just used his Proto Belt, trying to dash in. Triple V
Oh, man.
does not have the damage to punish.
I feel like if Jazz goes for the Ignite there, they might be able to force Bruce's flash or maybe Bruce's ultimate, but they opt to play it safe because Bruce has been so aggressive the whole game. He's earned that kind of respect. He's established his dominance.
You frankly never know what else Bruce has
Yeah.
in store for you. If he's going to be alone, I mean, frankly, what other marksman would make that play when they're alone?
Really just Bruce.
And again, we see what happens off in the side lane. Noel fights against Ysera. Cookie brings Golden Feet, rallies him to his call, but watch as
Bruce
Noel
is here.
leads Golden Feet to his own devices. Has to start to flash away, still has his
Bruce
ultimate
is
so he can
always
dash
here.
back. But Ysera's over there waiting. Golden Feet jumps back. The Darius will be there.
And getting a lead in the mid lane doesn't just mean a lead in the mid lane. That means freedom on the map to move, freedom to take space on the map. And that's exactly what Bruce is doing right now.
Wow.
Oh, Solo Bolo? Rip off, Ignite.
Ignite
He's dead.
taking him down. Eason with a pickup on the kill. Well, it's not really solo. Come on, Eason exists.
The entirety of this game can be summed up as one thing, Grandin. Bot diff, go next. Ban the Yuumi, go next.
A wonderful job done here by Flash Wolves, and a big reason why we've been looking towards Flash Wolves as a team that potentially has the ability to take down some of the best in the competition.
I think you call back to what Bruce said in some of his videos as well. I'm not afraid of the pressure. I have enough competitive experience that I'm not afraid of the pressure, and that's true for the entirety of Flash Wolves almost. They're ready to adapt over the course of a tournament, which is so important for such a long and vital tournament like Icons. The most
Absolutely.
important tournament. And this adaptation from them, not having Bayer, but you have Locking, make Locking go play mid, Bruce will still play AD. Just such a smart adaptation from Flash Wolves that plays so well into their strengths. Two of your best players, Bruce and Eason, put them in lane together. Let them dominate.
And they have so much experience, right? That the experience honestly translates so well when they have to make decisions like this, make calls like this. Up towards the top side, Flash Wolves ignore Archie to pick up the turret. Follow that up with a kill on Archie as well.
Ysera says, that's mine.
Golden Feet trying to fight against Cookie. Will call Triple V alongside with him, but Flash Wolves trying to reach a point where BRU have no response.
No response at all here. BRU from draft to gameplay. Frankly, feel like Flash Wolves have just done a better job here today, at least in game 1. Keep in mind, this is an elimination match, so we will be saying goodbye to one of these teams. One of the 2 WCS reps will be going home after this.
And frankly, Flash Wolves look on form. It's up to
Noel
BRU
wants
to
a
step
flank
up to the plate to take them down. Locking here, we'll see Cold and Feed dash through, uses the ultimate quickly, does not want to get held in place.
Yeah, he knows if he gets chain CC, even one hook timing of CC might be enough for Flash Wolves to pop him because Bruce does so much crit damage right now. Flash Wolves, they run the map, they run the show, 10,000 gold lead, 2 dragons in their pocket. BRU, I would say running out of options, granted, but I think they're already out of options.
Yeah, Flash Wolves have the Baron and the Elder Drake coming up. So now they just need to decide how to play this one through. We've seen games won and lost around the Elder Drake, but Flash Wolves are a team that will never lose against a team when they have the advantage.
Yeah, Flash is the most stable definition of a team. That's not the WRL team. Flash Wolves, rather. And they are not going to let you flip the dragon against them. But now BRU, they've set up a trap. They're trying to be proactive. But yet again, I don't think Flash Wolves are walking into this.
This is the part where you need acting classes, right? You need to convince them that, yes, my team is definitely not there in the brush.
Well, it doesn't matter, right?
And Cookie was right. They weren't there in the brush. They left. BRU are method acting.
How much space Flash Wolves took in the mid lane, forced them out of the rush. No amount of acting can save you from that one. Noel
isolated.
He has to just flash.
Taking damage, scent packing. Dragon spawns now. BRU forced out this space. They had first priority there.
Oh my god, look at Bruce and Eason. We talked a lot about the Jax, we talked a lot about the Singed, but it doesn't matter. The only 2 champions on the Rift that matter right now is the Xayah and the Yuumi. Bruce and Eason, wherever they go, BRU will have to run away from them.
Redemption used for vision. BRU, frankly, see no way back into this one.
None.
Not into the pit, at least.
Oh my goodness, look at how much damage either one of the 2 are doing.
Flash was doing an amazing job of zoning away BRU from start to finish, finding amazing fights once again. Noel looks to shot this one off, but there's no way you can target down Bruce. Bruce will bring Flash Wolves yet another step closer to winning this game.
And Xayah, such great answer into the Camille as well, right? Hextech Ultimatum, Featherstorm, that's it.
Easily able to dodge away from that one. Archie starts to walk forward. BRU looking desperate. Flash Wolves can smell it. They take down Archie. They run forward. Locking chases up the Triple B in the back. Bruce with the auto attack, but Ysera picks up the kill instead. Cookie comes through with a counter strike onto Triple V, taking him down with the final auto attack. Jess running for his life, but an ace, a prime gaming ace for Flash Wolves.
And what was that from Locking at the end as well? Throws the glue on the left, runs to the right, showing off his mechanics in this new role. Flash Wolves, what a game.
Thinking about the satchel charges here, Omo. They were thinking about it all along. Flash Wolves, with a brilliant display, will take game number 1 of the series.
Look, Grandin, we kind of expected Flash Wolves would have a lead going to this one, but frankly, I didn't expect that to be that one-sided. Nice adaptation, bringing Locking back into the roster, but playing mid, keeping Bruce as the carry. Look at this guy, Stone Cold Killer. We kind of have an inside joke as well, referring to Bruce as the anime villain. And he kind of lives up to that as well. Look how dominant he is. BRU, they need a training arc between game 1 and game 2 to try to crack the code of Bruce and the Flash Wolves.
Look, I don't want to come off as someone that might know a little bit too much about anime, but
you do.
You know, the hyperbolic time chamber, get in there, right? Slow down time, you go get some training in. Who knows? You know, who knows what happens between the tunnel from the stage to the back room.
The tunnel is giving me some real Tenet vibes going on. Maybe they go back in time. And
they go back in time to get some training going.
Well, they're definitely going to need to figure something out.
But I mean, Flash Wolves look so much cleaner. Like, they look so refined. They were able to figure out what needed to be done.
Frankly, BRU, they just need to figure something out. The draft wasn't quite it. The game plan wasn't quite it. The gameplay wasn't quite it. They were disconnected. They were disjointed. Whatever it is going on at the BRU camp right now, they need to sort it out between game 1 and game 2 because their tournament lives rely on it.
But Flash was over on their side as well, have managed to identify the issues that needed to be done and could resolve them coming into this series. They look so good. We're going to toss it back over to the desk to break this one down because a very strong start here, Kangas, for Flash Wolves.
Thank you, Grandin, Omo. Great cast. Also, great style. Omo's shirt. That's fantastic.
I was touching it earlier, and it's really soft.
Great.
Noted.
Material.
Up 1-0 in the series right now. Flash Wolves off of a very, a strong statement of a game one. When you're looking at a best of 3 series, this is an ideal start to things. Not only did they win again at that Elder fight, one of those later games, but they controlled the game throughout pretty much all of it.
Yeah, there were so many instances where you get to see Bruce and Eason just basically tag team together as Zaya and Yumi and basically bully out Triple V. They didn't even need hard engage just yet. They were basically auto-attacking and scaring Triple V off. And if you scare Triple V off, where's your wave clear, basically?
But also, during the early game before the Zaya is a real champion, because Zaya takes a while to do damage.
That's true.
I was like, well, who's the Yumi gonna sit on? That's what Darius was for.
Yeah.
And then the Darius was basically unkillable during the first dragon fight, which is the break point for Darius. That's where Darius can get a good team fight. He keeps rolling. If Sarah steps into that fight, gets knocked low, that's what all the Yumi heals are for.
Yeah, that's true. There was a fight during that Rift Herald where he got almost a quadra kill,
Right here.
triple kill. This is
Right
it,
here.
right?
That's
It's
the
just
one.
So perfect.
That's what I'm talking
Exactly,
about.
TJ. Imagine if that final chapter.
that's
flank
what
was
I'm
just
talking
so
about.
good. Everything was so good.
That decimate on a
That's what I was
3
Exactly.
right there.
Great timing.
TJ feels really proud of himself.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
I mean, the key part is that you get fed off of that, and then that gold stays with you for the next fight, and the next fight, and the next fight. And we saw that gold. I like the gold graph. Once we get a look at it, it's just going to be a steady increase for the Flash Wolves.
And yeah, and basically like after the transition from Ysera on that Darius, that okay, I see Bruce having that Infinity Edge Storm Razor. It's time. It's time for me to tag along, Bruce all the time, auto attacks, Feather Storm into that big final chapter combo, lock people down, kill people. It's such a very easy to execute combo.
And Zaya is a very difficult champion to play normally because she's defensive,
That's
right?
true.
So it's very difficult to play Zaya in team fights where the rest of your team wants to go forward because you want to be taking steps back. You want people to be walking over your feathers and then calling them in. And this is where BRU helped out a little bit by one, having a composition that needed to close distance, and two, kind of looking a little disconnected all game.
Yeah, I feel like, this is a composition as well when we look at BRU, is that they don't have necessarily a lot of hold. Parallel Convergence takes a while to set up. Transcendent Embrace coming from the Karma is just a slow that was even nerfed. So you don't have a lot of hold for something that has a lot of mobility on the side of Team Flash Wolves.
And as we saw in that last fight, even the Camille Hexag ultimatum, like Grandin called on the cast, or it might have been Omo, but you just use the feather
I can't tell them apart.
As soon as Camille lands on top of you, then you're fine. You're safe. You're not actually in danger there. So they have a really good kiteback. And there's that gold grab I was talking about. You see that little bump around that first fight, and then it just takes off from there.
And the big thing as well was Noelle playing that. Camille is the ideal carrier to grab those backline kills, to shut down the Zaya, or at the very least, slow her down, make her a non-factor in the fight, force stasis, that kind of thing. Very disconnected all game. There were a lot of fights where Noelle was kind of in a side lane, separated from the fight, maybe ostensibly looking for a flank, but realistically not being near enough to contribute to the fight.
And then Bruce can do this damage in these team fights. That is a lot of Zaya damage.
That's Wild Rift, baby.
That's Wild Rift, baby. Honestly, again, looking at the Zaya Yumi combo, this is the third time we're seeing this particular combo. First one, we saw this from Kwangdong Freaks, second from RRQ, and now it seems to be resurfacing sort of when the Yumi is open. It's not the same as what RRQ did with Lee Sin and the Yumi combo, but instead this one, because it's easy to layer everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, layer after layer.
Layer 'em on top.
Layer after layer after layer after layer. And do you know what I really liked? During the early game, we saw a ton of aggression from Flash Wolves.
Sure.
We were asking, how do Flash Wolves open this game? That's very important, given the other teams they have to play, given the historical weaknesses of this team.
Sure.
And we saw that change here, as during the early game, right off the bat, they were trying to get that into that bottom lane into position. You saw Eason leading fights on that Yumi at like level 2.
Yeah.
And it didn't go great, but the fact that they were taking those swings and forcing Buriram to play on the back foot, to play defense, to rotate players across the map to receive that pressure, slowed down any chance Buriram had of winning the early game.
Part of what I loved about their plan in the draft phase to prevent Buriram from having an early game is banning out things like the Lee Sin, the Olaf,
yeah.
the Kazakhs. They took away a lot of these junglers. So then at the end of the day, we saw Golden Feet on the Echo. And like you're saying, TJ, the parallel convergence takes a little bit more time to set up. And it's not as like crazy of a, oh, we're just going to kill you in the early stages of the game type of pick.
Yeah, it's very extra hard to execute, right? And I feel like the draft from Flash Wolves up to execution is just so much better. When we look at the draft, we talked about the different stages of the game, early, mid, late. So you got Darius Isera first, Yumi attaches. Mid-game, you've got the Xayah with a Stormbrazer and Infinity Edge. And then late game, we've got Golden Feet on the Jack. So it just fits so well. Yumi has every stage of the game covered.
It was really good Yumi play as well. Like, we talk a lot about Yumi as this hyper-powerful character. She's been almost 100% pick banned. There were a couple of games where she fell entirely through the draft. But that wasn't very cool. That was pretty uncool. It seems. Because she can do this. Whenever you see a good Yumi played, her final chapter is devastating in teamfights. It is teamfight winning if it lands, and she does a pretty weird amount of damage, hopping off of people, doing damage, getting back on, healing key carries in fights.
Yeah, especially if, Eason did build the full AP Yumi, and you're up against very squishy members, no tanks, you'll just shred through everyone.
And I gotta say, as we have cheers going on over in production right now. The test that we had going into this match was, can either of these teams show a strong early game, an aggressive early game, a faster early game, because these are two of the slower teams from the WCS. I think Flash Wolves, with their play in this game, have shown that they can play a much faster style of Wild Rift, and they are willing to pivot towards that, maybe taking BRU by surprise.
I think this is a very good sign, right? Especially for looking into Flash Wolves possibly getting that 2-0. I know I'm looking into this.
Possibly.
I'm looking far into the future. It's whoever wins this series, I'll be confident because that means they've got better early game now. They've grown as a team from the WCS and can face the WRL teams in knockouts.
First, they need to face Omega, though.
That's true, too. Omega plays a completely different game, and I'm excited to see that one as well.
That's going to be interesting stylistically for either of these teams to match up against, but eyes on the prize right now. For Buriram, it is getting 2 wins in a row. I want to start from their side because we're getting ready for pick and ban. What do we want to see change or pivot to help them either get to that late game in a more comfortable position or try and answer some of that early game focus? TJ, I'd like to send this one to you first, and then Rico, I want your thoughts.
I didn't mind a lot of the picks because they played to the player's strengths. I think the Camille in particular on Noelle, really good call. But what it meant was that there weren't any frontline tanks to tie up those engages, and I want to see more of that, especially into something like the final chapter combo.
For me, it has to be the strengths from early of the play-ins part. We're talking about Golden Feet on Irelia. We're talking about Noelle on the Akali. So a lot of assassins, a lot of high mechanics. So I feel like this is it because they're down. Flash Wolves is just one game away from getting to the next stage.
Chosen the blue side, that means they will get first pick. They have a couple of champions that they can flex around when we're looking at specifically something like that Aurelia. And now Flash Wolves will have to answer with their next picks here. We're not seeing a lot of adaptation. So far, it's the same bands.
Buriram, one of the first teams from Thailand to play on the international stage in Wild Rift. I believe they are the first team to make international. And that matters because the Thai region historically very good at mobile esports. One of the major sources of powerful teams, world champion teams in SEA. So a lot of expectations on Buriram, an organization that has been world champion in other mobile esports coming into this tournament. So far they've underdelivered, and they might really underdeliver if they go out in this next game, knocking them out of the tournament entirely.
One thing though, looking at the picks for the Singed, is Flash Wolves, Lee Sin is open. This means Cookie can play Lee Sin, Camille, or Lee Sin Renekton. It could go either way. But so far, Lee Sin is open because earlier it was banned. I think that's going to be important to propel that big early game that we keep talking about.
Yeah, we've dropped a lot of the jungle bans in this first round. But it's the Camille Jace combo instead.
Huh. Okay, so Jace is very big.
I don't want to hear that again.
Yeah.
She made it first!
No!
I was just doing the same noises.
I inhaled loudly. So
Okay.
the reason why is because...
So did I.
Okay, there you go. Jace a very 50-50 champion. If you don't babysit him in lane, if this is indeed a jungle Jace, I feel like it's much harder to execute to propel basically anyone. But look at this Kha'Zix and Corki not being picked up by BRU.
The presence of the Kha'Zix and the Corki mean that they're going to have both ranged damage and the Kha'Zix to pick off stragglers. And we'll say the second you draft Kha'Zix, the second you draft Corki, those are low HP carries. Those are low HP carries that can be targeted by Jace, that can be targeted by Camille on engage from Flash Wolves.
Now I'm expecting Flash Wolves to maybe get rid of some of those other poke champions that can pair with the Corki Kha'Zix combo, but they're going for the Lee Sin. So we would assume that means Jace in the mid lane, Camille Baron lane, and Lee Sin for Cookie.
This is insane.
What a kick, dude!
I know, right? This is, again, Flash Wolves basically saying, we're going to get this early lead again. We're going to do the same thing with what we did in game number 1. And for BRU, this is basically all scaling. While they do have poke, this is a poke composition so far, Void Spikes, a lot of the rockets coming from the Corki. This takes a while to scale. This takes a while to get online.
The question for me, though, is Camille, Lee Sin, Jace, that's a lot of engage. You're looking at something like a Nami typically behind it, the Enchanter that can play at range and support that engage. But what are they engaging onto? Does Buriram have in their final 2 picks the capacity to pick a tank frontline? Yes, with their support in top lane, there could be, Darius, Garen, that sort of thing that can receive that pressure and thrive under it.
Honestly, if they're going for this route, I feel like Galio's going to be very important for Ethan in this particular draft, just because Camille, Hero's entrance, Lee Sin goes in, Hero's entrance. And it's so good if BRU is going to draft a heavy melee composition. It's so easy to punish melee, Justice Punch, taunt, everything with a big knockup.
Over on BRU, for what the Jess and Noel, I'm looking for team contributor tanks. I'm looking for people that can build space for this Corki, that can buy time in longer 5v5 team fights for the Singe to do their damage, for the Corki to stay alive on the backline.
Morgana for Flash Wolves.
The Enchanter engage, like I was talking about. Nami is my favorite of these, but Morgana gives you more defensive options, makes it so that you can avoid being tied down by Singe.
Exactly. The Proto Belt Singe no longer as scary when you have that black shield on top. BRU have information, though, of this Baron laner right now. What do they want to put into the Camille? TJ, you were saying maybe a tank, something to be a front line.
Gallo!
Soraka's not what we were necessarily expecting.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, you go first.
I really like Soraka. She's been really powerful for a while. She got buffed recently, I think, with the Ardent Sensor items. She's actually really powerful if you go for that support build route. But she has no mobility. And you are picking her into Lee Sin, you are picking her into Camille. That is crazy.
This is insane. Everybody has a big gap closer. Everybody just, exactly, the Galio. We were exactly talking about this. And this is a very sad Soraka. If you see a Galio, there's a lot of people can basically deliver this Galio to that big knockup, and Soraka has nowhere to go.
This Soraka is just going to get squished. This is a crazy draft from Buriram. Unless they have some brilliant plan to keep the Soraka alive in team fights, we will never reach the late game where she is so powerful.
The one thing I'll say, she does have a decent interaction with the Camille ultimate specifically. When Hextech Ultimatum goes in, you can actually silence the Camille, and then if Galio lands on that, he's rooted instantly. But
if you get auto attacked, you're dead.
But yes, that's a big point, right? Because for Flash Wolves, it's very telegraphed. You know that they're going towards you, so the silence, that big AoE silence, is going to help a lot.
Well, let's see if it works out for BRU or a Flash Wolves. We'll continue on in the group stage. We're going to send it back on over to our casters for game number 2.
Soraka?
I wish I could be that excited for a Soraka, Grandin.
You're not?
No, it's kind of lame.
But
Soraka's not a
Soraka!
fun champion by any means.
Well, you run around, you heal people.
Well, the running around fast is pretty cool. The ambulance is pretty cool. But other than that, what's fun about that champion?
You, like, how about every moment where it's like super clutch and you heal them and you save their lives?
Well, I didn't think about that one. That's a fair point. Have you heard of a champion called Yumi? Could I interest you in some Yumi?
I don't know.
I know it was banned, but...
What is that?
Well, the point stands from last game, Grandin, that at the end of the day, What the Jazz is on a good champion, especially within the context of the draft, but this champion is not going to allow him to roam. It's not going to allow him to make plays. And
You just said the ambulance Soraka. And then now, what does an ambulance do, Omo?
You know what, Grant? Oh no, if he was quicker on the uptick there, I think he forces some. Bad luck.
What does an ambulance do, Amo?
Wee-oo. He does that.
It rotates, right? It moves around. It goes to its patience.
I think in the context of how BRU as a team have been playing every lane losing, what the Jets is actually going to be able to roam quite a lot because he's just going to be able to ambulance into the mid lane, into the top lane, and heal his teammates. He's definitely going to be able to ambulance the Triple V.
That's one way of looking at it.
Wait, what's going on? I think this is the first time the entire tournament that BRU have been winning a lane. Winning lanes in general.
Well, Bruce has not yet picked up his honey fruit, I think, so
Yeah.
he's going to go back and pick that up now. Gets himself back up to
Okay,
pretty
Brandon,
close
let me
to full.
hope. Let me cope, please.
Of course,
Thank you.
of course. I'm just
Appreciate
trying to
that.
help you, remember that whatever happens, happens.
Well, whatever happens, happens. Like we said, this is elimination. Tournament lives on the line, and Flash Wolves on match points already. BRU will have to win 2, but so far so good. Off to a good start here.
Actually trading quite well here,
Yeah.
this Soraka.
Mid lane's
good.
trading well, top lane, bot lane's trading well.
Ashni got some mana back, but Golden Feed running
Man.
low with the Ignite does
What?
not survive.
Red
Last
Buff Ignite did that
tick.
much?
Did that much. First blood
Wow.
on the board for Flash Wolves.
Honestly, I don't even know where the damage came from. And look at Flash Wolves. The moment you give them a lead, they transition it
Hello.
into the Baron lane. They're playing off your Sarah's push on this Jace. That's 2 waves from Noel. Just gone. into
Call the
tower.
ambulance, but not for... Wait, it is for him.
It is for him. He needs the ambulance right now.
Wait, I
It's a
felt like I
brutal
ruined it. I could have used
situation.
that for something else later on.
Yeah, you kind of botched the punchline, but it's all good. I'll steal the joke later. Okay, not the worst. Noel still gets a sizable chunk of the wave, but I think he does lose out maybe about half a wave. They
Ooh.
want to redive maybe.
Back for round 2, Bruce does not have his ultimate this time, but still able to get something
This is
done.
okay,
A lot of
this
damage
is
along
good.
the Sarah. Noel's still alive. Yes, it's focusing pass. It makes him very tanky. Cookie walks in now again. Ultimate picked up here by Bruce. Cookie does not have it, but it's an easy kill for Flash Wolves.
Noel left on an island for so very long. No one on his team making his way up. I think they thought that Noel was safe because they didn't dive him initially, but they went for the redive timing from the side of the Flash Wolves, and BRU were just forced to trade sides. Of course, it's not even close to being a worthy trade.
I mean, all jokes aside, we've talked a lot about what's been going. We haven't talked all that much about what's going to be happening towards the next parts of the game. The analyst desk has already mentioned it. You know, they need to see a way for them to get into the late game where Soraka is going to be strong. How do we get to that point?
Well, it's going well for Soraka. It's going well for Cocky. They have a pretty slow lane that they can play out. They have a bit of a gold lead. Hopefully for BRU, if they hit their timings this game, they will be very strong around the first Rift spawn. They're going to have a Singe running in with Protobelt. They're going to have a package. They're going to have Wukong, who despite not having any items, double Cyclone, is still so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, but he's going to have to reach a point where he's going to still be relevant with
Yeah.
the Cyclone, right? And
Yeah.
we already start to see now a lot of pressure here by Flash Wolves, who are doing a very good job identifying. We can push in this mid lane. We can then transition to
this
top
is-
side.
this
Easy
is
here
really
as well.
Really good from the Flash Wolves. They identify correctly that they have to play around the Jace. The Jace needs to maintain a lead in this matchup because if Jace ever falls behind, Wukong jumps on your face and you have no counterplay. So they're going to try to redive this possibly.
They spot out Cookie, but
Yeah,
very
you
quickly,
know.
Bruce running over this turret, likely to fall. Flash Wolves looking at first turret for themselves.
No way.
Soraka running over, but a little bit later, primary cycle used here. First setup done by BRU, chasing after Noel, loses a lot of health, but that's the power of Soraka. Still alive and fighting.
No more Cyclone though. That's a big team fighting tool gone. What can they do right now?
Archie with the toss back,
That's
Bruce
much.
goes under turret. Eason with the ultimate, but he goes into the back line. Flash Wolves not able to capitalize.
That's a botch on the timing there from Eason and Bruce. Eason a little bit impatient, a little bit too hasty with that one. Good news for Flash Wolves though is that play costs you nothing. You can reset, you still have your timings for the next objective spawn coming up in 30 seconds. Relatively even right now. Let's see how BRU are gonna approach this.
So just for clarity, what happened there was Eason wanted to use his ultimate when Bruce jumped
That's
in,
right,
but the
Camille
hashtag
Galio.
ultimatum before Bruce was able to land, Eason had already channeled the
Yes.
ultimate, and so because Camille's untargetable, Eason was not able to find the right target. This is what we talk
Exactly.
about with timings.
Exactly. Now, BRU, they do have the setup here. They do have the package here, but they need to be proactive. They need to find the timing because with Cocky, you are on a timer. Package is gonna run out in about 15, 20 seconds. They need to do something here.
Triple V looking for a flank angle, trying to force Flash Wolves away from the Rift Tail. They're
They
deciding
started.
that this is the objective
Started.
they want to try and go for. Eason's over by the pit in the eye brush, spots out Triple V. I don't think Flash Wolves have
Yeah, he's
means to
good.
capitalize off of this. They still get first turret without Rift Herald.
Yeah, BRU need to be decisive right now, and that's the problem. They're being anything but. They need Noel to rotate. They need Archony here. He's already low health. Turret's already dropped, and now you're going to start the objective. Package about to time out too.
Flash Wolves see this happening, and they know they can fight this. They're not going to go through a trade. They decide this is the opportunity for them to come through. Package going to be used early on, over by the back. Cookie jumps into the pit, steals it away. Eason there to back him up, and they're able to find the Kate, knocking back Archie. Archie trying to run away. Just pops the ultimate, gives a little bit more life over back to BRU, but Bruce holds them in place. The Hextech ultimatum will take him down as well, as Triple V will be in it with him.
They trade a kill. Golden Feet for Bruce, but they lose the Rift Herald. Koki getting into the pit, stealing that one away from right under the nose of Golden Feet. Nothing they could do there. Problem here is package timed out. It's kind of what we talked about.
You needed to use it.
Yeah.
Better down than not at all.
Yeah. Good job from Noel trying to zone out the back line, but he had no backup, no package to dive in together with him. That's the issue. Timings have been the problem for BRU.
And as they run out of mana, Flash Wolves weren't able to finish off those kills. Might have been a different story if they did, but BRU being able to recognize that took a very good fight on their part.
This is so iffy for BRU. They have no Cyclone, Grandin.
Archony, an interesting toss back, but Eason's going to be nearby, gets a taunt onto Noel. Noel's going to start backing away. Flash Wolves taking control around the river and the dragon in process.
But they have to just back away from this one. BRU have to give it up. They have no spells available, but the good news for them is Flash Wolves are not contesting it. Flash Wolves are not finishing it.
Sarah could go for the turret, but he decides to back away instead.
Yeah, playing it safe here, doesn't want to take a risk. He doesn't have the control over the Tri-Brush. That means that BRU could approach from that angle. Flash Wolves, they are slowly getting an incremental gold lead across the board, from the side lanes especially. That's where BRU have not been doing a great job on answering. They haven't been bleeding out in the straight-up team fights, but Flash Wolves have been out-bombing them.
Golden Feet on the dragon once
Cyclone
again.
is
Flash Wolves going to be nearby. Winds of War tosses in the pit. Cyclone comes through. Noel gets a big knockout on the first use of the Cyclone. Second one comes through as well, but Flash Wolves try to back away. Golden Feet will secure the dragon this time around. But there we go. Ysera jumps in to the skies, brings you in, and gets you down. BRU pick up the dragon, but they lose Noel. Archony burning down low, but picks up the Hunting Fruit and
They're
survives.
going to lose the mid-turret as well here, Grandin. It's a 1 for nothing. You get the dragon, but you trade your mid-lane turret, and some might argue that it's more worth it than a Cloud Dragon. Mid-lane tier 1 gives you so much control on the map.
And you still have that Rift Town, so you can afford to use that later on as well.
It's a very rough situation for BRU to be in right now. The upside is they're bleeding slower than they did in the last game, but that's not enough.
And this is where BRU is strongest, right? They have spells that perform incredibly well around neutral objectives, around these choke points in the river.
But still, right, they barely managed to take the dragon. They still lose the team fight.
And Flash Wolves, they still also have tools that do very well there. I mean, you have the Morgana, you have the Galio giving you the crowd control, and then afterwards, Ysera and Cookie just very quickly able to output damage, take you down.
Rough situation for BRU to be in. The thing you got to consider here as well is on the side lane later on. Bruce, I think, is going to be unmatched. He has such a gold lead over either one of the solo laners on the side of BRU. 2K over both Noel and Archony. That's going to be very brutal.
Rift Herald being used here to try and pick up the third turret. Easton spawns out. BRU, Golden Feet starts to use his leap to dash away. Bruce trying to hold him down. The hashtag ultimatum, but he's still alive. Archony gets the shoulder fling toss as Bruce is knocked back away from BRU.
They want more.
Cyclone used again. They're trying to pop this one. Archony held in place. They weren't able to find it. Topped up the foe. BRU fully reignited. They have the chance to win a fight here. Just flashes forward, gets the silence onto Flash Wolves. But there is no follow-up. Flash Wolves get to disengage.
It's so close yet so far. Flash Wolves doing such a good job of pushing and pulling, disengaging when they knew the fight was over. And BRU, they were so desperate for a fight win. They were so desperate for any sort of win in what has been, frankly, a depressing series for them so far, that they committed so deep, over-committing. 4 flashes burned there to try to get a kill, but they couldn't find a single one, Grandin.
They don't have the same kind of hard crowd control, right?
No,
you
they
have
don't.
stuff like with the Soraka, you will be able to take these extended fights. We saw what happened. BRU topped back up to full. They had a chance to win the fight, but it's on Flash Wolves to have to continue pushing, pulling the trigger.
Frankly, the Soraka has been very effective at keeping BRU topped off, at keeping BRU in these team fights, but it hasn't been enough for them to win any team fights.
Pace of the game going to slow down just a touch as Flash Wolves have picked up every objective worth taking at this point of the game. They could extend in for the inner tier turret, but it's going to be risky, and so they want to take their time. They want to set up for the rest of the map, continue to build and accrue a goal lead. You can see towards Colin Feet's side right now, he has been having some issues. 0-2 in the game, not able to find his footing. Archie caught out this time around. A good combo here by Flash Wolves to pick off the mid laner of BRU.
And don't Flash Wolves just look so much more in sync here, Grandin? When they make a play, it's a play like that one. They jump on you, they one-shot you, they're gonna take your tier 2 here as well.
Rip Herald.
Second one of the game. Didn't even notice that one, huh? Oh man, they want Jess.
Isolated away from the turret. Eason's going to pop his ultimate. The turret going down to Flash Wolves.
Yeah, well, forget what I said about them looking connected. That one is a bit of a misplay. But still, Flash Wolves are doing such a great job at running the map. BRU have to respawn on every single side of the map. No way it gets a charge up. Cold clutches that one.
Leaps in.
But the fact that that nearly happened just shows that BRU are so disconnected on the map right now, Grandin.
Well, they managed to prevent it in the nick of time, and so
Sure.
maybe that's what they're aiming for. They got to play on a razor thin edge.
Knife's edge here.
Yeah,
Well, that definitely worked out.
and BRU have to keep that one going. Really claw back against Flash Wolves. The Flash Wolves looking so dominant. They know what they're doing. They've come back in here refreshed and understanding their opponents. An opponent they faced off time and time out. Having done so much research for them before, that research now playing off.
100% paying off here. Flash Wolves look a cut above right now. They are slowly bleeding out BRU. It's not a flashy game. It's not an explosive game, but it's one where you never have a doubt that Flash Wolves are in control of the game state.
I mean, Bruce has gone from playing the Zaya to playing the Camille in 2 different games. Incredibly different playstyles.
Yeah, it's just really simple. If you want to know how they're lane swapping, how they're assigning the champions, just look. Which one's the carry champion? Bruce is playing that one. 100% that's the case for Flash Wolves as this tournament progresses.
I mean, Cookie could be doing a lot here. We've seen how well Chaz is able.
Well, yeah, but jungle champions are different. If it's a solo lane champ or a marksman champ, and it's a carry, Bruce is gonna play it.
Sure.
It's Bruce and the boys.
It's
right?
simple math. It's a foregone tale. Nice pick up onto Sarah. He's silenced here. Eason trying to come in to save his teammate, but Sarah likely to go down. BRU not able to finish off that first kill. Eason pops the Gargoyle Stone Plate, picks up a lot more health. Flash Wolves survive through the initial pickoff.
And this time, the healing is on the side of BRU. The war of attrition, well-favored BRU. It's looking good for them. They have no outs, but still.
Arjani, once again, gets the toss and looking for this kill. Again, might be able to find Bruce, but Bruce won't be able to flash away. Escapes with a hook shot. BRU not able to hold down a kill.
And BRU just cannot finish a kill. We said the war of attrition will be on their side, but look at Jess. He has no more health to keep healing you. A gust will kill him at this point.
He'll find a way, Omo. He'll find a way.
Dragon
being picked up here by BRU.
Cookie.
But Cookie looking for the steal. Goes into the pit, finds Conan Feet that gets it once again. 2 Dragons over to BRU. Now they fight for their lives. Fight for their chances. And it's BRU with a chance to win it. And they take down 2 members of the side of Flash Wolves. 1 more player. Bruce goes down. A triple comes across for BRU.
And I'm just going to be honest with you. Okay, what a way to die at the end of that one.
Shadow.
Little anticlimactic there, but BRU with 2 dragons, and let me tell you, it's all Soraka. That was all Jess. He's not playing a carry, but the wee-wee ambulance still comes true.
Can you do that sound effect again?
No, I'm not. I'm done. That was horrible.
No, that was great.
No, but look at this. He's so low health, and he still manages to get. Count the heals here with me, okay? 1 here onto Golden Feet. That one's going to be important later. We'll come back to it later. The fight comes out, whatever, doesn't matter. We're just looking at Soraka. All this doesn't matter. Silence comes in, doesn't quite find Cookie, but still doesn't matter. Second heal comes out, that's the 3rd one. He gets a 4th one onto Noel. He trades his life as well. Bruce will kill him.
Noel lives because of that.
Yeah, that's a good support right there. Solo queue players, take a hint.
The 4 heals to keep BRU alive. Team
BRU.
very happy in the back. Flash Wolves might be able to trade for something here. Package gonna be used. Triple V trying to isolate away Eason, but Eason's still very tanky. Arshni also looking for a pickup, but it takes down the Galio in the top side.
Things are finally starting to look up here for the side of BRU, but you look at the gold, and they're still down 4,000 or 5,000 gold. Flash will still have win conditions here. Black Shield, so good.
Instantaneous.
Yeah. Locking knows exactly what he's doing, and when we say he's one of the most stable player on the side of Flash Wolves, there's a reason for that. In a team of stable players, he's one of the most stable.
I always just say that all game, Obo.
I love him.
Well, you'll say it right now.
What?
I haven't heard you say he was one of the most stable players.
I
haven't
said
heard,
it when we were introducing Locking back into the draft. I said he's so stable.
Oh.
My words were.
But you didn't say that he was one of the most stable players.
Well, I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now. He's one of the most stable players in a team of stable players, and that's what we love from the Flash Wolves.
All
We
right.
still have win conditions here, Brandon, right?
Right.
It looks a little bit rough because the last couple of team fights have been so clutch for BRU.
Honestly, both sides, right? It's difficult to tell exactly
It
which team
is,
is able
it
to win.
is.
Flash will still hold on to the gold lead, but it hasn't been able to grow for the past couple minutes.
Yeah, but the gold lead is where it really matters. You look at Ysera maintaining 3,000 gold over Noel. You look at Bruce maintaining 4,000 gold over Archony. These are your side laners. These champions are going to split push you to death as the game continues. Good news for BRU is Cold and Feet has caught up to Cookie, and Corky has a bit of gold lead. But Triple V needs to now step up and carry because the burden is on him now. You can't rely on your big brothers to do it anymore, and it comes down to you this game.
Well, what we do see here is BRU with 2 dragons and Infernal Drake spawning up next the Elder Dragon for this game. If BRU are able to take this dragon like they have the last 2, well, they might just stand a chance to win this. Flash Wolves need to prevent that at all costs.
And Flash Wolves have had some luck with stealing objectives as well, right? Cookie has not been bad with that at all, so you got to be very, very careful on the side of BRU. He will find an angle. If you flip that, that could very well be the game.
Flash Wolves setting up in the brush, will spot out the vision.
Yeah, luckily for BRU, though, there's no reason for them to check this side of the river right now. If you see everyone on Flash Wolves off the map, just be a bit careful.
No one really showing themselves. Top wave being shoved in. Bot side, Bruce is going to be nearby trying to cut that wave. Once again, looking for a pickup. Eason left alone. A chance for a kill. Eason blocked on his Justice Punch. Gets killed here. A big flip back onto Locking. Noel still alive at this point. They get a heal once again. Soraka doing wonders for BRU. No one will die.
Wow. It's all the Soraka, isn't it? The engage was good, no doubt. Noel and Archony working in tandem there to catch off the Dragon Lane.
Look at this Warmox, providing them so much healing in the mid side. They continue to fight. Triple V running out of mana, but this turret will go down.
Bruce is just determined to end the game on the side lane, and he could very well do it, granted. He still has a 5,000 gold lead. Sundera, Bok, and Howlbreaker now for good measure. He's coming in for the flank. Flash Wolves want to fight.
Cookie with the Guardian Angel. Bruce coming in over as well. Has the hook shot. Decides not to go in.
Bruce was alone there. One glue trap could have spelled the end of that one for him, but Archony not quick enough for the uptick there. They're forced to back away right now, BRU, but they are happy with the game state. Mid tower finally broken. Gold lead, well, still in favor of the Flash Wolves, but a little bit closer now.
Elder Drake in 20 seconds, where games are won and lost. Package up for BRU, and so they will pick it up. Potentially a game-winning team fight here.
And we've been talking about timings all game long, all series long, and this might be the timing for BRU.
It might be yet again Eason, the one that they find, but Bruce very quickly joins into the team fight, re-engages with the rest of his team. Flash Wolves knock back. Cookie pops his Guardian Angel, well, not his Guardian Angel, but his Hourglass, trying to stay alive for now. Flash Wolves start to back away. Golden Feet leaps in, but will not be able to find a kill.
If Triple V had Zhonya's there, he should have just gone in with the package. He's playing very conservatively, but now, BRU have an angle on the Dragon. Archony wants to find a pick.
TP picked up here by Cookie. He gets a TP back in again. Archony finds a pickup on the Eason. Eason goes down. The first pickup here for BRU. Flash Wolves very quickly disengage.
Eason does have the heroic entrance, but he's on a 40-second death timer. Package is going to be taking it off soon as well. If you want to start it, it's now or never. BRU, do you want to flip this?
Elder Drake up now.
Package is gone.
Package used by Triple V. Bruce is nearby. Dark Binding does not connect.
Look at Cookie on the flank.
A pickoff is deadly here, Omo.
Archony's zoning, but he's zoning on the wrong end.
Noel moves forward. They want to finish off the kills first. Bruce has to start running away.
Finish
Triple V
the dragon!
nearly finds the kill, but the Dragon's still there. Golden Feet wants to pick this one up. Cookie over the back line. They need to take down the jungler
Keep
first.
the
Lee
dragon
needs
leash,
to go
please.
down.
Finish
Dragon down to
it!
3,000. Triple V
it!
has to decide. Do we go for the jungler? Do we go for the Dragon to take down Cookie first? Over on the other end, they force away Flash Wolves. BRU with the other Dragon pickup.
I should be happy about that, right? That we are getting a close game, that we're getting a possibly 3-game series. But the way BRU played that was so hesitant. They were not decisive. There were multiple chances for them to go. There were multiple chances for them to finish. And they hesitated at every possible chance. At the end of the day, though, they even out the gold lead. They secure Third Drake and Inferno Elder at that too. But pay attention to the sequence of events, granted. Look at Cookie here. He's got a good angle, right?
I'm watching Cookie.
He's got a good angle. Noel does a good job at zoning him off. Golden Feet does a good job of keeping the dragon leash. But now Cookie realizes it's do or die. I have to flip the coin. This is all good. But the moment this gets popped, finish the dragon. It's 3K.
They decide to go for the jungler first and pick up the dragon in the end. BRU with 3 Drakes over on their side. We said this could be potentially a game-winning team fight for BRU. Now finally, gold lead. Less than 1,000 for Flash Wolves.
And I got to point out something to you. For BRU fans, you will be very heartened to see that what the Jazz on the Soraka is now full build. Roll up,
Wow.
Warmox, you are good to go. Genuinely,
The
you are
last
good to go.
chapter for the extra mana too. So you're
Exactly.
done. You're basically pack it up. We're done, boys.
You know, you don't have health potions, you don't have mana potions, but you're good because you've got Warmox, you've got the Staff of Flowing Water, you've got the Roa. You're kind of a beefy boy. You've got the Jonias as well if Camille ever tries to engage on
I mean,
you.
TJ said that when we saw the Soraka get to the late game, it was going to be
Yes.
strong, and it is strong.
It is.
The question was how would they going to get there, and now we've seen how BRU.
They're going to start this, but they have to turn. They do not have package.
Flash Wolves looking to pick this one up. Bruce on the bottom side of the map. They need to isolate someone. That's the Black Shield coming across, locking once again. Pops his hourglass to stay alive. They finish off the first
Nice.
kill. Bruce matched by Noel on the bottom side, so BRU get to do what they want.
And Bruce is trying his best right now in the side lanes. And I think he will be able to do
Archie
it.
gets the rocket belt, gets onto Ysera. Ysera's Guardian Angel popped. Noel holding his
Oh
zone
my
against
God.
Bruce, and Bruce cannot end the game. And so they're poised to
Golden Feet
take
went
down
back.
Ysera. A little bit more time is all they need, and they go back
Oh,
2-on-1
no.
against Bruce. Another kill to BRU.
A heartbreaking game for Bruce there. He's trying his best, but if BRU can send 2 members off to your side lane to kill you while still winning the team fight, then the game is all but over, Grandin.
Flash Wolves need to find a miracle play back in it as BRU finally
They can't. Bruce is dead.
pull ahead with the goal lead. 10 seconds up on locking. Can he stall the game long enough? Fortification will be up as they pick up this turret. So
The kick clears the wave. That's it. That's good.
BRU have a difficult time ending the game after this turret goes down.
Oh, they could do it. There's a wave again. But they're going to play it safe. No need to risk it. Your tournament lives are on the line here. Just take it step by step.
They go
You've
for
all
the
but
one
won
side
the
turret
game.
instead. Taking a small lead where they can. Finally, there we go. Goal lead
It took a while.
back over to BRU.
It took them 21 minutes. But they did it.
And once again, Archie looking for a pickup. Might be a little too aggressive. Noel stepping far forward. Eason.
Oh,
Man's
no.
gonna catch
Oh,
on Triple
no.
V. Triple V might go down here to take down the Corky. Damage gone for BRU, but Noel's gonna keep them alive, hold them in place. Triple V use the Valkyrie to get out. Noel sacrifices himself for the team.
But this Soraka has just been the MVP for BRU, keeping them alive in a situation where BRU could have gotten wiped, should have gotten wiped by all means.
And Flash Wolves, they know the game plan. Take down Triple V. That is what you need to do.
Well, actually, granted, the game plan is to take down what the Jazz, but failing that, because it's kind of hard to when Soraka's in backline, then sure, you take down Triple V. You got that? Note that one down, Flash Wolves. When there's a Soraka in the game, you always kill her first. And look, Jess knows that as well. He knows he doesn't need more healing items. He's got enough healing. What does he need? He needs to stay alive. And he's building for that. Frozen Heart, I believe, will be the next item coming in for him, and that's going to be a huge pickup too. No,
There
man.
we go. The catch on the Triple V. Who's gonna go down? That's the pickup that they needed. That's what I was talking about, Omo.
Look, Brandon, I'm trying my best not to be harsh here, right? But if BRU end up losing this game, if they end up getting knocked out of the tournament off a pick like that, that's going to haunt you.
Flash Wolves start of the Baron, but they know this is going to pull the attention in from BRU. BRU over by the backline has Noel. Popping the Cyclone looking to take them down. He still has Guardian Angels. He gets one more chance at live. Golden Feet still alive.
It's all
with the
Golden
damage
Feet.
to get it done.
Benta.
A triple kill coming across. Give it over to Golden Feet. He runs you down so quickly. The Quadra. Golden Feet hunting after Cookie.
please.
The Penta kill for Cookie. For Golden Feet.
They know they've done it. The flashes come in for BRU. They lose Triple V, but it doesn't matter. Soraka keeps them alive, and Golden Feet picks them off one by one.
And BRU draw the series 1-1 against Flash Wolves.
You know what, Brendan? That was more like it. If we're gonna see a WCS team kill another WCS team, let it be in a game like that.
That's what we need to see from BRU. The Soraka, turns out, works well against a team
No,
that
it
wants to
didn't
skill
work
late.
well. It carried the game, granted. It was 1v9. It worked fantastically. I was not on the Soraka train, but I am now. Wee-hoo, let's go!
An amazing job, well done, and continuing to diversify the support champion pool.
Yeah.
You take away the Yuumi, take away the Thresh, and he has apparently a third pick waiting.
And you can kind of see the BRU aren't celebrating. They know the job's not done yet. Kind of tense vibe going on in this tunnel. But still, a win's a win, and now you bring it to match point. You bring it to the last game. One last game for the tournament live, so either one of these WCS powerhouses.
A slow start there for Archony, but he was able to pull back very quickly.
He did
in the
great
well.
that game.
Held his own for so long, and as we went deeper into the game, we started to see Archony really come online. The pick-offs that he was able to find for his team, taking down Eason, taking down Locking, those were the opportunities they needed to stall the game out long enough for BRU to turn it around.
Yeah, and Noel as well. He was targeted the whole game. He was dived multiple times, and he still did his job in the team fights, creating such enormous disruption in the back line. Really, he just did his job very well. Everyone on the side of BRU did.
An amazing job, well done here by BRU, but Flash will still have more up their sleeves to discuss that. We have the analyst desk to break down this game and to tell us what to look forward to in the next game coming up.
Thank you, Grandin. What a way to end it. A pentakill! On stage. Absolutely insane. I'm jealous because Grandin and Rav have both gotten 2. And I haven't gotten a
that's
pentakill on a
true.
cast yet.
Steve Kangas, I have a correction to issue as well. We were going into the game. We both said the Soraka was insane.
Yep.
He died once. But the
Yes.
Jess played that Soraka perfectly.
It was incredible, not just the gameplay, but also the build. It was a very tanky Soraka.
Exactly. So it means that if you're going to invest resources on killing the Soraka, what's left? What's
Yeah.
left to use onto Cold Feet? What's left to use on the rest?
Rod of Ages into the Warmugs. He was even building toward, had the Sapphire Flowing Water, but then was building towards like a Frozen Heart at the end.
Yeah,
there.
a
It's
healer
like,
tank. You
You're
gotta
not
love it.
killing this Soraka, and we saw they were just, anytime we saw Buriram low on health, medic, get in here, just heal us up,
heal.
and then they could just stay in these fights forever.
So many of those team fights, what the Jess also wasn't in the team fight. Part
Yeah.
of what makes Soraka so easy to kill normally is they have to stay within range of the fight in order to deploy healing. Lots of these fights, what the Jess, you can see he's so far away, he's not actually healing people up with his first ability. Instead, he's staying really far back. People are coming to him. He's healing them, and then when things get really dangerous, he's hitting the ultimate button. What the Jess is never in danger, and that's down to some really good positioning and some really good team coordination.
Remember that.
Pentakill.
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 On top of that too, right? Like even though they had a lot of melee champions, basically Flash Wolves is an all melee comp. Morgana is a melee champion because you need soul shackles to be in melee range.
Now I want to hear TJ cast a pentakill though, but in that voice. That'd be fantastic.
No.
Yeah.
No, wait,
We're not gonna
but the Soraka, right? So these melee champions can't exactly reach the Soraka, sadly.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Especially like Morgana, you look at Morgana as that ranged engage. Jace, also you look at him as ranged engage,
Yeah.
but they have line of sight spells.
True.
You don't have the big assassin, except for what's supposed to be the big assassin, the Camille, Bruce. And so many of these fights, he's having to drift like behind his ranged carries. He's like trying to find poke around the side of things, because every time he goes in, it gets real bad. That Soraka silence that you called out does actually make a pretty major difference.
And
Exactly.
and the fact that this is a very the Flash Wolves composition is a very low damage output comp. If no one snowballs from their side, no one's gonna deal damage. You're just gonna deal chip damage to people, and that's the beauty of having the
Potato
Soraka.
chip.
Exactly, potato chip damage, and it's just what the just healing with a lot of the
Yeah.
healing sauces.
And it's important to note that locking is back in now for Flash Wolves. On the Morgana, some of those black shields could have maybe saved some of the Singe flips, but we saw a few times where Singe was still able to get in and find that big engage. So I'm just wondering, is it stage nerves? Is this, okay, now I'm stepping up in the group stage in a big match and then just not necessarily executing mechanically the way that you need to on that Morgana pick? Yeah, there's the coaching staff. I'm happy about that one.
I think many of these fights look pretty good for locking. I kind of don't have notes. I do think it is worth mentioning that Bruce had a lower game impact here in the mid lane. He swapped back to his original role, a little bit shakier. The other flank, of course, here is Archony, also back in the team after some roster shakeups that we talked about at the very beginning of this match. Archony's looked good in 2 games as well, so maybe a return to form, Riku.
Yeah, it's very stable, right? So speaking of return to form, does this mean Bruce is gonna be returning what's next?
Pentakill.
Pentakill or 80
Pentakill.
carry.
Sorry.
Keep doing that, TJ. 80
They played the clip again.
I know, it's so good, right? Will it be Bruce 80 carry or would it be mid lane 80 carry? Because Bruce played a lot of 80 carries back in the WCS. But had the Camille mid, I'm not sure if that was it.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing the Camille pivot to the mid lane, and also Archony's played Garen and then Singe. So the tanky melee champions in the mid lane, is Bruce able to match that? Because we know Bruce plays these kind of anything that fits the comp. He can play pretty much any champion, but it's not working against Archony, at least in this game 2. Game 1 was a little different, but maybe a pivot is what Flash Wolves need.
I think that my big problem was there was no way for the Camille to get in. We'd oftentimes talk about the Camille as engage. In a composition like that, you need somebody to kind of shepherd the Camille in to create enough chaos that the Camille can get in. This is oftentimes why when you see engage compositions built around the Camille, they're also playing with Riven, they're also playing with other characters that can dive alongside them. I think the theory here is that Bruce is enabled by the presence of the Lee Sin, enabled by the presence of the Jace, but they were never able to engage simultaneously and cause enough disruption you could get that 1-2-3 snowball you're looking for, where it's engage, followed by the heroic entrance, followed by the Camille. We never saw that wave connect.
And the difficult part is that even though they want to get close, get into the fight, Wukong has strong engage, but is also very strong on defense.
Yeah.
When they go in, you just pop cycle and you disrupt every single combo. He's spinning, he's throwing you off there. And on top of that, Triple V was so huge,
That
no one can
damage.
shut him down.
The damage graph there was insane, and Flash Wolves were close. They got the pick at the end, the Hextech Ultimatum, Lee Sin layering on top. They killed Triple V, but then it led into the Pentakill, so it didn't even matter at the end there. When we were watching the fight, I was like, wait, the damage is dead. Like, how does Buriram win this fight now without the Corki? Well,
Golden feed.
turns out Golden Feet on the Kazakhs was all the damage they needed. Can you do that again? Oh, we're not on camera. Everyone will just have to imagine Riku and DJ doing a little Kazakhs jump on the desk.
I feel like Kha'Zix is more of a meh, so.
Really? It's more like a...
Because he's
For
doing like the
sure.
jumping between like a meh.
That sounds like
Yeah,
a cat
he's
noise.
like- he's like
That's a
a-
Rengar sound, TJ.
See, my bad. You are 100% right, and I apologize.
Now I want to bring the discussion back. Now, it's an even game state.
Yeah.
1-1 in the series.
That's true.
I'm all about factual statements, TJ. If we look at this from the side of Flash Wolves, Rico, I want your quick thoughts. They just lost that last game. Is the Soraka ban worth it now, or do they need to do something else in draft?
I don't think it's worth it. I think Bruce needs to be on a ranged 80 carry for this mid lane. Either Lucian, I'm thinking about Akshan. Bring it. Irelia. I'm talking about Irelia too.
TJ, quick thoughts.
Just kick the goat. It's not hard.
God.
The problem is Soraka was playing very far behind the fight. There was some clever positioning happening. The way that they were cycling back into the range of the Soraka as opposed to relying on the Soraka to step forward. Very clever. But now that you know what's happening, you should be able to beat it with gameplay in-game, in fights.
1-1 on the scoreboard.
True.
Between the WCS representatives, Flash Wolves versus Buriram. It all comes down to this. So, for one more time, let's send it back on over to Grandin and Omo on the cast.
I wish it would never end.
Well, it has to end at some point. The journeys for both of these teams, starting all the way locally in the WCS finals, and now Icons. For one of these teams, it ends here.
I feel like I should mention, I'm Granite, with me is Omo.
Nah, who cares? We're here to look at Flash Wolves against BRU, man.
That's
This
true,
is-
that's the important part.
Yeah, the best team from Masters, #2 seed from the WCS finals, and now BRU, the best team from Thailand, have a chance to upset them as the 4th seed coming out of the WCS finals.
The first showing here for BRU in the international competition, Flash Wolves. Did
First
not
showing
man-
too.
Flash Wolves as well, but Flash Wolves as a team have so much prior experience.
Well, of course, right? If you look at Flash Wolves in League of Legends PC, we know what an impact this team can make on the international stage, and some of their members very experienced as well.
Absolutely, and so we look towards a team with so much experience to see if they can keep their run going. They had a difficult starting opponent. Now they need to pull back against BRU. They started off the series with a 1-0 lead. BRU pulled back in game number 2. But that was off a very interesting Soraka pickup. I wonder if Flash Wolves have a plan to shut that down.
Well, let's see. Maybe a ban will shut that down. But now BRU, some adaptations you have to make in drafts. I think on the red side, you have to start with the Yumi ban. You cannot let that one slip through for Eason again. And is this a bug on my screen right now? Okay, it is. It's all good, all good. The players are still gonna be Bruce and Triple V. I'm pretty sure that's just ignore that.
Right. It's also I don't think it's banked right now.
Yeah, it's not. He's not even here, I think, but it's all good.
We're fine. We're fine. Okay, Yumi man,
Look.
like you said.
Back row, third one on the right. That's the superstar. That's Bruce, anime villain. He's still here.
He's still here.
Yeah.
He's here to.
And
Send
Yumi
this
ban,
to-
that one has got to go. Sorry, I
Decent-
interrupted your joke, but I don't want to hear it anyway. So
Decent ban here by Flash Rolls. This is gonna make a different one. Decent ban here by Flash Rolls.
Okay.
They don't want to. The ban is to prevent themselves from playing it.
But Cookie did well. He had some very nice kicks. He was like 2-0-4. He stole an objective. He stole the Rift Herald. He had a good game on the lead.
Sure.
But he just couldn't carry hard enough.
Yeah. To prevent themselves from getting into that mindset, you know? What's the thing that Flash was doing really well? They get into the late game.
Yes,
And they're like,
that is
all right,
true.
we're going to play Lee Sin. We're going to have an early game. They had some good tempo to start. Went to the late game. Wasn't their jam.
You
Now
know
they're gonna
what,
go back and
Grandin?
it's like, I'm going to play Jax again. Flash Rolls, I'm going to play Jax again.
I'll give you that one, Grandin. That's a good point. And the Singe ban to follow that one up too. Archony was very effective on that champion. Fair call to get rid of that. BRU opting to get rid of Gragas. That's one of Easton's best champions, whether with the Senna or without. So that's a fair call too. But this means the Karma is available.
Yeah, something interesting to see if the Karma gets through on the first pickup. We saw it
Oh,
go through
no.
on the other side. BRU could go for that themselves, but the Senna pickup Flash Rolls to start this one off.
Yeah, and Senna Nasus is still available. Senna Galio is still available. Options aplenty for Eason, and I do believe it will be locking with him in the Dragon Lane. I don't think Bruce is going to be too fond of playing the Senna. But at the same time, right, I think if you think what changed for Flash Rolls from Game 1 to Game 2, they were playing carries in both games. But the difference in Game 1, they could 5v5. They had Bruce leading charge. In Game 2, Bruce had to go side lane. He had to play his own game. And when Captain Bruce wasn't there, you kind of see Flash Wolves just look a bit more lost.
BRU with the Corki again.
Okay.
Damage aplenty in the last game. Full Triple V in the bot side. Colin Feed with his pentakill on the Kazakhs will run it back a second time coming against Flash Rolls.
This is a good pickup here. He did a good job on it last time. And it's the Kazakhs, it's a good pick into the Jax as well if Flash Wolves were to opt to pick it up now. So fair call from BRU to snatch that away early.
Flash Rolls might still insist on the Jax pickup, but decide for the Jace
Oh, no.
instead.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you here. Ysera did a good job in the early game. He did what he had to do on the Jace. Pressure your lane, set up for dives, maintain lane advantage. Ysera ticked all of those boxes. But mid to late game, I felt that was where Ysera was kind of lacking and snatching the Nessus now before BRU can ban it away.
Did you see that Jace give us a little like tip off with like
Yeah,
his fingers?
Jace kind of flirting with us.
That's Jace from Arcane.
Not gonna lie, he's got me feeling weak.
That's Jace from Arcane.
It is Chase from Arcane.
The question is episode 1 Jace or an episode 9 Jace?
What's the difference?
The episode 1 Jace, he didn't have his like all his hex tech.
Ah,
weapons
yeah,
yet.
you're right. Well, you see, that's the interesting thing, right? We talk about time tunnels and everything. For Flash Wolves, for Ysera on Jace, he's going backwards in time. He starts off the game with Cannon in episode 9, and he goes back in time. Late game, he has nothing. He's Jace, unequipped.
That's really unfortunate,
Well, that's the case, right?
especially when
What's
you're back
fortunate, though?
against BRU with the Soraka again.
Exactly. That's what's fortunate for BRU right now. The Soraka for what the Jazz, picking it up on 3-pick grid to make sure it can't be banned away. It's a good call. It's a good pick against Senna Nasus because you scale alongside them.
Nice ban onto the Jax. Even with
Yep.
the Kazakhs, you don't really want to have something that can go into the hyper late game and
Yeah.
do so well against you.
If you think about what Flash Wolves want for Cookie right now, it's a champion that can lead charge, it's a champion that can run in, that the Senna Nasus can play off of. Jax is one of those champions, Olaf is another. But do BRU want to ban Olaf because Kazakhs is a pretty good matchup into Olaf? There we go, banning away the Darius. They want to make Ysera play the Jace here.
Garen taken away.
Okay. That's a good pickup there from Flash Wolves. Actually didn't notice that one. Darius, one of the traditional counter picks to Garen. With it gone, they say, you know what? We don't really have too many answers to the Garen. We don't have tank killers right now, so let's just ban that away ourselves.
Yeah, I am a little curious what Flash just want to try and go for here, though. Senna traditionally does incredibly well with a bunch of tanks.
Yes.
But of course, Soraka does so as well, so on both sides, they kind of have to take some concessions.
And you keep in mind last game, Flash Wolves did have answers to the Soraka in the form of dive. They have Camille Galio, they didn't manage to execute on it, but they had the options to dive to Soraka. This time, no such option. They need to take you 5v5, head on, run at each other, let's see who wins. And I think Soraka will win that one if she gets the scale.
We need some kind of front line for Flash Wolves, for BRU now.
I think
Noel
it's an
coming in
Olaf
here.
angle.
Still has some, but Olaf could work well for them. But
Ooh,
Flash
Cookie
Wolves-
Riven.
Cookie Riven.
He's back at it. It was one of Coden Feet's most picked, most successful champions as well. So both of these jungles gonna be very familiar with that.
Oh,
Okay, is this gonna be a
back on Bruce?
I actually have a feeling that Ysera is gonna play the Camille and Bruce is gonna play the Jace. But either way, I don't like it. I don't want Ysera playing these champions.
We need to see something a little bit extra from Bruce.
Okay.
No
Game
Singe this
5.
time around, so it's the
Yeah.
Twisted Fate.
Game 5 Twisted Fate here for BRU. No cinch, not tanky, not as foolproof, let's say. This is a
Right.
champion again that relies a lot upon timings, which is something that BRU had struggled with in the last 2 games. Now their comp is even more reliant on timing, so to be fair, if they do it well, if they hit you at the right time, it can be very scary. The Twisted Fate has a lot of possible options here. It can shut down possible side laning from Camille in the late game. It can shut down Jay's pressure in the early game. It pairs so well with Kha'Zix. And you know what the best part is? You can reveal everyone in Center Shroud. Just pop Destiny and you see them all.
But I think with that as well is that, you know, Archie, while he was able to use his pick-off to get a bunch of, like, really nice fights started, not so simple with the Twisted Fate,
Yeah,
right?
it's way harder.
It's much, much more difficult.
Until you get RFC, then it becomes suddenly very easy.
But of course, what we saw from Flash Wolves, where they were able to get the early tempo. They had a lot of early map moves. They were able to go up towards the top side. They were able to go into the mid side, punish Noel, force him off the turret, take him down, give themselves a massive lead to start off the game.
Well, let's see what happens this time around. Ysera did have a good start to the lane last game, but mid to late game where he kind of falters if he's not on one of his trademark tanks. Can Bruce and the boys do it? Oh well, BRU rep Thailand on for another stage. Booked themselves a rematch against Omega as well.
A difficult opponent. They're
Very
still
difficult.
waiting for them. But BRU have a chance here going for them.
Well, let's see how that one plays out. It's going to be a very interesting one. The drops are very exciting for both of these teams, Grandin.
Flash will start off with a tough opponent now. They must once again face off BRU to continue their competition chances. Let's see how game 3 goes.
It's going to be exciting. There's a lot of power here in the Flash Wolves comp. They have a lot of their trademark picks. Senonassus, this is very typical Locking and Eason. Cookie's Riven, it's very typically him as well. On the side of BRU though, kind of new champions for them, kind of adapted to the meta very well, but still I think this draft is extremely strong on the side of BRU.
And I can imagine this is something they wanted to save as they went deeper into the
Yeah.
competition. Didn't want to have to show off too early on, but I mean, frankly, you know, you don't have a choice, have to do it right now.
Yeah. You have to show it right now. You have to show your cards. Look in the mid lane. Archie started off with the stack deck. Traded pretty well against Bruce.
Ah, I see what you did there. Show your cards in the stack deck.
Yeah.
You know, the look on your face does not
Very
look
smart.
like you planned that one
No, I
out.
did plan that one. The cameraman set me up for it. He panned over to Twisted Fate and the pun worked out.
All right, wonderful stuff here for BRU to keep this one going. We will look to see what they can get done early on. Coden Feed coming into this one. Ysera will be on the Camille instead, and Bruce is on the Jace this time around.
Yeah, this matchup between the Camille and the Wukong as well is one of a lot of intricacies in the trading path. And basically, whoever shows their hand first will lose. If you open with a Camille sweeping tactical blade, you will lose the trade because Wukong dashes on your face. Fantastic. A pause. Let me explain the details of the Camille-Wukong matchup. If Camille opens with sweeping kick, Wukong dashes in, he wins that trade. If Wukong opens by dashing onto your face, Camille drags out the trade, plays that slow sweeping strike, whatever. She kicks you in the face.
No, well, that's tactical sweep and then Nimbus Strike,
What is Nimbus Strike?
the Wukong dash.
Okay, I know Cyclone. I
Sure.
know Decoy.
No, that's Warrior. That's this like Warrior Trickster or something like that.
Oh, okay. Are you sure it's not called Shadow Clone Jutsu?
Well, I mean, if you're gonna say, at least say like Hagenobu Jujutsu.
Okay, we're not gonna go down the weeb alley here. We need to find a time for you and Riku to get that sorted out, but not with me, Grandin.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward with the Camille and the Wukong matchup.
I know Hextech Ultimatum, Hook Shot, Tactical Sweep, but I don't know her first spell. I don't know her Q.
Precision Protocol.
Oh, that's a passive.
Is it? Is it not Adaptive Shield?
Oh, I have no clue.
Adaptive
Okay,
Shield
well,
should be her passive, and then I think it's Precision Protocol for
can
her
we get
first.
a nut girl in Twitch chat right now?
And then
bit
it's
of a
something
tech
like
boss?
Crushing Blow for Wukong.
This is not something to flex. Why are you flexing on me with spell names, Grandin?
It's something Trickster. I forget what it is.
Okay, let me go back to the
matchup
matchup here. Back to the matchup at hand. Camille will outscale Wukong in the 1v1. Eventually, on the side lane, it gets to the point where Wukong can no longer match you. That's something we saw last game as well, right? Bruce was pressuring Noel on the side lane. Noel had to use Cyclone to clear the wave, which was a smart call from him, but Bruce would have eventually won that 1v1 on the side lane. This time around, it's Ysera, so I have a bit less faith in him to pull off the 1v1 successfully, to time your side lane pushes successfully, but he has a lot of experience in the Baron lane as well. Up against Noel, both of these guys will try to be stable, but coming up to the early game team fights, I can't help but feel like BRU will have a better draft there.
But I mean, a big difference from what we saw from last game was that Easton was on a champion that was easily able to rotate, had a lot of crowd control, get around the map. The Galio does so much work for them now with Anasis. A lot less agency. You're not able to get as much done. You might be able to push the waves, but I think that's just about your limit.
That is just about your limit, but to be fair, Santa Nasus has been very effective for Flash Wolves in the past, because if you think about how this team plays, right? It's Bruce's team, it's Cookie's team, you want to support them, you want to run in behind them. And Santa Nasus are just such great champions at doing that. Easton can't be proactive, sure, but the good news is, neither can Jess. Jess has not been proactive in all 3 games of the series because of his champion picks. He's played Karma, Soraka, Soraka. A change of pace here for the BRU support, but it worked out for them in game 2.
But he finds impact in other ways. While he's not
a lot of
directly
impact.
responsible for having the initial crowd control to start the fights off, he finds value in other ways. Soraka, an interesting adaptation here for BRU, giving them a lot more sustain, letting them win these fights later on. And again, we talk about the ability to go into the late game this time around. Flash Wolves play again a style they are most favored for. Sananasis giving them that time. You want to go into the late game, exactly the kind of composition that has to get there.
I feel like I'm casting with TJ right now. Your voice just slipped into chill late night radio podcast mode, and it kind of put me to sleep. Let me tell you, boys and girls, about the matchup between Wukong and Camille. At level 1,
sounds pretty good.
Camille wins that matchup because she kicks you twice in the face and she has a shield.
Wow,
Very interesting stuff.
that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah.
Have you considered voiceover work?
No, I'll get fired. I can't. I'm not cut out for it. You know, we have some pretty good voice artists. What, voiceover? What's the term for it? Voiceover artists?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Voiceover talent
Sure,
working with us as well.
sure.
Shouts out to Riku, Dagon. I think TJ would be pretty good at it too.
Sure.
I think Rafa would be good at it too.
So I'm just gonna list everyone.
But it's not for us, Grandin. The way I'm going with this, my point is it's not for us.
Listing everyone
Let
except
them
us.
do it. It's not our strong suit. We're just here to be clowns. Honk honk.
Pan over the camera back to us, got a red nose going on.
I always have a red nose going on. I'm a very pale dude, so like if any like sunburn or anything happens to my skin, I just go red,
Sure.
and my nose goes red first.
This sounds like a good idea. You need some of that like sunscreen on your nose.
Okay, well, I see players picking up their phone, so
That's a good
this
sign.
a good sign?
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign.
Promising sign here. You know, I told
Elimination
this
match.
story before, but I think it's very interesting. Every time you know a team is winning, you can hear them shouting. So it's always a bit of a spoiler for us on the casting desk. It's like half a second ahead of time, you hear them shouting, and you know, okay, fight's gonna start.
Well, it's like, yeah, I guess. But you know, it's like
It
half a
is.
second. It's half a second.
Yeah, but you
This is
know, my
something
brain is
I-
fast like that, granted.
Okay. Okay. your Diamond 2 brain. Too fast
Come
for us.
on, man! Don't call me out like that on desk.
That's a respectable rank.
I was a challenger PC player for many years.
Respectable rank for sure.
It's not! If you're Diamond, you should be embarrassed of yourself. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm Diamond, and I'm trying to do better. Trying to do better every day.
It's about the growth, the experience. We need to have a motivational talk now.
It starts with success, but will it be for the Flash Wolves or for Buriram United?
Thank you for signing up for this motivational talk here with Omo.
I think I would be a terrible motivational speaker.
I'm your co-host, Grandin.
You should be a motivational speaker. You could do it.
I don't know. I can't even find motivation to watch this one. It's so painful. One of
Why?
these teams has to go. And I love both of them, Omo. I love both of them a lot.
Yeah.
I feel you there. It's kind of sad, but at least it's going to be a bloodbath. We're going to see BRU set up for a dive 4-man, but they see Cookie.
Archony wants to use his ultimate. He spots them out. They know Cookie's coming over, so they want to back away instead. No fight happens at the bot side, but pressure out from BRU.
Granted, we always talk about timings. That's all we've talked about for the last 2 games now. Timing this time not working out for BRU. Good news is that's the first use of Destiny Gate. He will be able to find a second use before the Dragon setup.
And this is what we want to see here from BRU. Archony looking for rotations around the map, trying to get some pressure, trying to push in Bruce and find space so he can assist his team elsewhere. Wasn't able to quite find the success on the first use of it, but the fact that he was able to find the timing is a good one.
Really good ROA timing for Archony here. He picks that one up early on. Twisted Fate will get his Destiny Gate in I think a minute or so he'll be able to make a play around the 4-minute 30 mark. That's a big timing for BRU to look out for, right? Keep in mind, all we're talking about right now, timing, 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 okay?
And frankly, I don't expect the first couple of minutes to be all that impactful. I think both sides will look to get towards the mid to late game where they are much stronger.
Yes. Well, that is kind of true.
We might have a few moments around the objectives, I guess.
We will. We will have a few moments around the objectives. It will be a slower early game. That's a very fair point. Bruce does pick up a Howlbreaker. That is likely going to be the cue for Flash Wolves. There we go. Dragon Lane going to swap to the mid lane. Bruce will go isolate himself in a side lane. And that's a bit of a rough situation for Twisted Fate to be in. Sure, he doesn't exactly lose out on the side lane, but if you think about what he can do with the Destiny Gate from the side lane, his options then are heavily limited. So do BRU want to match? It seems like no, they want to just funnel gold. Wow, Bruce is so brave, by the way.
Just clears out the wave in front of BRU.
He just jumps into their bot lane, 1v2, no care at all.
No hard crowd control. Not
Yeah,
scared of
that's
anything.
true. He should have gotten poked out a little bit more, but it didn't matter in the end. Destiny Gate about to come up. Golden Feet's first item. Black Cleaver, no Dust Blade, no lethality on this Kha'Zix.
But it
We'll
wants
see if
a
that
little
works
bit
out.
more survivability, especially around these fights. I mean, Cookie, he has to execute, and that's always something to watch out for.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a tough one. Package is picked up. This is the timing window we're looking out for. Destiny Gate gives you map hacks. You know exactly what's going on, what objectives being started, who is sitting where. Golden Feet starting off the Dragon. He's going to be able to finish this one off, I think.
Flash Wolves have information of this, though, so
Cookie's
we have
far.
to see how they want to try and walk over Flash Wolves with 4 members moving towards the Dragon.
They get
Archony
this,
going
they
to
get this.
relocate himself close
Cookie's
towards
a
his
bit
team.
slow.
But I don't think BRU are looking to try and punish this.
That's a bit questionable, right? But I guess they want to play it a bit slow, don't want to take too many risks. Package is still available. Bruce could be dead here.
They want to dive in the bot side. Easton walking over. Golden Feet will spot him out. Won't have the isolate damage. And
No, they don't
Crux
have
in the
time.
way. Minions cleared out. BRU, no dive in the bot side.
They got to rotate away. I think too
Wait.
many members are here.
I said no dive, but I was wrong. That's a dive. BRU go in, but maybe it was best that they didn't. Flash
No,
Wolves will
Cookie.
see Easton dropping HP, but not dropping his life.
But BRU spent so long deciding, are we going to dive? Are we not going to dive? That Cookie just did this. Funneled a bunch of gold into himself. Now he has 1,000 gold over Golden Feet. And that's first turret break there for the Flash Wolves. Traded out for a Dragon, sure. But I think Cookie's happy with that one because he's such a pivotal win condition for the Flash Wolves.
Again, a gold lead here for Cookie. We saw what happened last game. Golden Feet was a little bit further behind, but Golden Feet found his way back into the game.
Yeah.
And so BRU, they will accept these circumstances.
I love seeing a Twisted Fate pick up the Zeal or the Shard item because it means they're not buying Lich Bane second. If you're playing Twisted Fate in the context of a high damage team comp like what BRU have, your goal is not to do damage. Your goal is to be a ranged version of Singed. Go in, gold card every time your RFC comes up. Archony knows this, he knows his job. He understood the assignment. He's going to pick up RFC second.
It's very interesting. The fact that BRU is walking over the Gatling gun.
Oh my
Triple
God,
V,
the
trying to
damage.
burst out Eason is a little bit surprising. BRU taking aggressive trades, punishing Flash Wolves for stepping forward, trying to get vision.
Well, now Noel is going to be able to just quietly bomb himself up as well. Oh,
Go card, isolation damage onto Cookie, but Cookie's safe under turret.
he's mobile enough. He's good to go. I want to point out Noel this time having a much better game than he did in Game 2, where he was shut down, picked on, dived repeatedly. This time around, he will be able to farm up, and let's see if that ends up being a big factor for BRU's team fights later on.
BRU deciding what they want to try and do now. They have a little bit of power with their first items completed, especially with Noel. He has a huge ultimate to join in with the rest of his team. But
Yeah.
it's going to take a while before they really hit their stride, and so I think both sides happy to slow down for now.
I'm not happy that they're slowing down. We were just talking about, you know, if the WCS teams have to kill each other here, have to go out, at least it's a bloodbath, true WCS style. But now in Game 3, everyone just doesn't want to lose the game, right? You got to take it slow here. We're just trading objectives instead of the all-out brawl that we were seeing in Games 1 and 2.
You hear the pain in my voice having to watch these two teams fight
Really?
it out.
You sound like you're enjoying it.
Don't call me out like that. They don't need to know that. But it is great to see teams, these two teams, you know, bouncing back, right? They had the initial losses and then now
That's a good
recovering,
start.
doing a great job dealing with one another. So much experience on both sides.
Eason is so tanky on that Nasus. He will not get taken down. We're not even close, really. Once he pops his ultimate, he is good to go here. That's going to be Destiny Gate used again. We've talked about timings. We've talked about forcing timings. BRU have missed that now 2 out of 3 times. Ysera is hesitant. I feel like he could have gone for triple V there. Backup not quite in position.
No point taking that risk. We know how Flash Wolves like to go about things.
Yeah.
They're a stubborn
and steady.
team. If they lose a game, they'll run it back again with the same idea. Feel like they have better execution, and if they're able to identify the issues, they will come up ahead.
Grandin, is the name of Twisted Fate's passive stacked dice?
I think it's loaded dice.
Loaded dice. Okay, let me ask you a question then. So the rest of his spells are card themed, right? And we see his cards. He clearly plays with his cards. But where are the dice? No, where are the dice? I don't see the dice. I don't believe it.
Is this like a literal question right now?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. It could be this, like, I don't, you could have like a
Look, I just
dice
hate
purse,
slow games
like
and
a
I'm
dice
losing my
pouch.
mind right now. So just help me out here.
It could be like a dice pouch. You know when you
Okay. Sure.
play like board games and you have like a dice pouch,
Sure.
you keep all your dice inside.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Well, now with the RSC finish, you start to see the power of this Twisted Fate. If you approach him, he's going to stun you up. His team is going to be able to back him up, and they do a lot of damage. Now, front to back is the name of the game here for BRU, with the one exception, which is the Wukong. If you can find the flank, it's going to be so scary.
Second Rift Herald coming up. BRU contesting for control with Flash Wolves.
It's a very iffy situation for both of these teams, but it looks like BRU have gotten the control. They forced away Flash Wolves. The team needs to be looking on Archony right now. Every time he gold cards, you need to be throwing your poke spells on top of that. BRU still looking a little bit disjointed, but this time around the comp is much more forgiving for it.
Okay, Rift Herald here. The Dragon's coming up in 8 seconds, so if BRU want both, they have to finish off the Rift Herald quickly. Flash Wolves
Package
coming
timer.
in with the Shroud. Package is going to be down for Triple V, so he has to reposition. Noel left alone. Triple V so very far away over by the side. Archony and Ysera will take an exchange. Ultimate's blown here. Destiny comes through. Richter goes over to Flash Rolls over the back. Noel needs to stop flashing away. He buys some time with his clone. Comes in with the Cyclone. Cookie gets the execute. Triple V held in place. Pops back with the Valkyrie. Repositions. But Ysera comes back with the tactical sweep. Still so very tanky.
Blue card!
No lockdown here for Archon. He starts to flash away. The trade back. Golden Feet still looking for the fight. The trade back. But Bruce is online. And he has the damage with the shockwave. Slows come through from what the Jess. But it's only the 2 survivors on BRU.
What a fight, but what a heartbreak there for BRU. It was so close, yet so far they were just lacking the damage, lacking the timings there. And Flash Wolves, they spot a win condition. They jump in at the right time. Take a look at how this one all unfolds. Triple V, once again, package timing. Not it. But the rest of the fight, right? It all comes down to Cookie and Bruce.
Eastern actually doing an amazing job. You can see Archie spent so long on the Nasus. Meanwhile, Ysera's doing work, Cookie's doing work, Bruce is doing work.
So 2 mistakes here, right? Number 1, Archony picks a blue card. That's unfortunate. It happens. I get it. But Bruce spots this fantastic route from locking, ties up 3 members. He slams them down to the skies. The rocket to follow it up. And that's episode 9 Jace.
Jace or Arcade?
Why are you showing me the losing team's reaction? That's a heartbreak.
They're still clapping.
Well, I mean, they're trying to be positive.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a heartbreak for sure, right? That team fight could have gone either way. It was very close. Came down to the wire, but it was still Flash Wolves that pulled through at the end of that one. Senna Nasus very much effective in these 5v5 team fights.
So much tension on both sides, but honestly, I'm having a blast. Flash Wolves and BRU pulling out all the stops, showing us all their preparation here in an elimination match. Game number 3, starting again in Flash Wolves' favor, but BRU were able to pull back last time. So, can Flash Wolves close this one out?
We'll have to see. I think this time around, the Senna Nasa's technically infinite scaling, as well as letting them match the Soraka sustain and team fights, is going to help Flash Wolves out a lot. They didn't have that last game. They do this time around, and I feel like that's going to give them more options in the late game. Take a deep breath right now. Very tense.
This is intense.
The air is actually electric.
Both
Because
sides.
Flash Wolves, right? Lightning. And then BRU, their like logo is like a lightning as well, lightning bolt too. So both these teams have lightning motifs in their. So that's why I said the electric atmosphere. Okay, I'm gonna drop that. Grandin, back to you. I feel like I've been hanging out with like TJ and Riku too much. They always like just make such lame jokes that it rubs off on me. Usually a pretty cool dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to respond to this. I might just have to leave. I don't know.
All right, it's time for me to solo cast this play by play. This is our WCS finals, me versus Grandin. It's all come down to this one.
Shockingly, that might have been a worse joke that I could have come up with.
I know, I know. You know, I go all in. When I make a bad joke, it's gonna be terrible.
But you didn't commit. You gave up.
It was pretty bad. It was a bit too bad. I was a bit embarrassed by it. I'll be
Viewership's
honest
like
with you.
tanking.
After this, production's gonna call me up. Hey, Omo, we need to have a chat real quick. And you'll never see me again. It's such a heartbreak too, because the one time we see a big team fight in that game tree and it leads right into attack pause. But that's good for BRU because mental reset. Flash Wolves, they're probably like, we could have ran with that one. Maybe get the dragon as well.
I think we are getting word that we'll have a little change to the game state.
Oh,
Jumping back a little bit in time to I think 11:14.
what happened at 11:14, Grandin?
We'll have to find out and see what this means for both sides.
Do you think it has a result on the Rift Herald team fight? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. That's a
really will
very
have to
exciting
see.
one for sure.
Absolutely. A lot of pressure here.
You know?
And with elimination on the line, you really do genuinely have to make sure that everything is in order and right.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens for sure, but maybe Coden Feet's Echo wasn't effective in game 1 because he was saving it for game 3.
That one was much better. That one
Thank
was much
you.
better.
Thank
much
you.
better.
I'm out of material though. That's all I got in me.
You done with your stand-up?
Yeah, I'm done with my stand-up bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Yeah. When do they get season 2 of this?
It's a special. It's a one-off.
It's a special?
Yeah, of course.
Man. Coming in prepared for the Flash Wolves BRU match.
Yeah, I had like 2 bits, Grandin. I had like 2 lines, and that was it.
Okay. I think Flash Wolves and BRU a little bit more prepared.
Definitely. You see the drafts coming out before you. 11:14. Let's see what's going on here. Nothing really changed then.
Not all too much.
Yeah, not
Just
all too much.
A slight pullback.
Oh, wait, this is pretty much where we were, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I guess Coden Feet's Echo not very effective in game 3 either.
Back towards this game. If you missed it, what's happened so far, Flash will start off with the lead, picking up the Rift Child, winning a massive fight to get themselves in position around the Infernal Drake now as well.
Yeah, once Flash Wolves get a hold of the choke point, you know they're not going to let you walk into that one. BRU having a very tough time approaching. They don't really have the champions to face check. You don't have a real tank. Noel and that Wukong is not very tanky right now, and Cookie's already started this one off. Destiny Gate a couple seconds away here.
Yep, Archony should pick up his ultimate. There we go. They get vision right away. They're going to try and get into the Dragon Pit, trying to fight for this one. Noel goes in first, but he only finds Eason in the process. Ysera joins into the fight. Archony repositions for the rest of his team. Ysera over by the back. Redemption comes down. The Dragon Zone away from Flash Wolves. It goes down and over to BRU. Eason continues to work away at Coden Feet Flash Wolves.
This Nasus is so tanky.
Takes the Dragon and takes control here.
But BRU do have the health advantage. They do have the inside track on the mid lane turret. They'll try to chunk that one down a bit. Archony doing his best on the outskirts with the gold cart, but not in sync with his team. Means that doesn't amount to anything.
The fight's gone on for so long here. BRU win the war of attrition. Sustain comes through here from Locky, healing them back up with the Senna. Noel to give her a catch onto Cookie, but Cookie still has to dash away. Gold card once again, a little bit more damage.
How annoying is that front to back from BRU? They have the Cocky chunking you out. They have the Soraka constantly healing up his teammates. And they have Archony fishing with the gold carts one by one by one. Thank goodness for this Eason Nasus, because if not for him as the front line, tanking up all the damage, it would have been a very dire situation for Flash Wolves indeed.
Well, one turret over to BRU, maybe a second in the bottom side.
Yeah.
Golden Feet picks that one up.
It's a nice gold swing, sure. Now the dragons are 1-1. The towers are 2-1. The gold lead's basically even, just grand off for BRU. It's about as close a game state as you can expect.
But where the difference is going to come from is that Rift Child Noel
might be
now
dead, though.
overextended, spotted out by Bruce Cookie coming in with the
He's
flank
dead.
angle. Noel going down. There is no surviving through this, unless with the Cyclone.
He's dead.
He buys enough space, but the flash follow through from Cookie means a kill for Flash Wolves.
And that's a big kill because you get the flash out of the Wukong, one of the key spells on the side of BRU. It's a kill for Cookie. And that's going to be good for Flash Wolves because now that gives them space to open up the mid lane. They want to answer back in kind. If they take down this turret, that's going to be a pretty big goal lead for them. And I think they can do it.
And opening up the map so much more. Gold card lands on the Ysera, prevents the
Oh,
engagement.
no.
Over the back, a huge stun comes across. Triple V loses so much health. What the just pops the ultimate gives them a little bit more life. But as you can see, Flash Wolves push BRU back.
Wow, this Soraka is just keeping BRU's hopes and dreams alive in this series right now. Keeping Triple V alive there. BRU, they have not found a single kill this game. But I feel like if the game state continues, if the scaling continues, it's not a bad situation at all.
Lots of grievous wounds, anti-healing on this side of Flash Wolves though. Let's take a look back on his catch-up to Noel.
Frankly, Noel was just way too deep. He does not have the mid prio. He should not have been there. 3-game series, I guess it just slipped his mind.
The pressure is on for real. And
Pressure's
Noel,
on.
while that mistake did not cost BRU too much to lose them a little bit of pressure, we'll have
Lost
to
the
see.
mid turret.
Yeah, we'll have to see how well BRU are able to bounce back.
If you keep in mind, in Game 2, BRU won a game with their solo laners both 2,000, 3,000 gold behind their respective counterparts. This time around, it's only about 1,000 gold, but I don't know why. I feel like it's a worse situation for BRU. Maybe because they don't have the tanky Singe frontline?
Might be the case.
Might
Archony on the Twisted Fate just doesn't offer the same kind of impact.
But he's full built right now. This is the strongest team, power spike for Twisted Fate, barring like a death cap later. This is it. These 3 items, cheap items, you get gold income so much quicker because of the stack dice, loaded dice passive you mentioned as well. But they just cannot get through Eason. He is way too tanky, Brandon.
BRU in a difficult position here. Triple V not with the same amount of damage he had at this point last game.
Yeah, and Flash Wolves, if you give them a lead in the mid lane, they will translate it to the side lane. Now Ysera and Cookie gonna take this one down.
A beautiful job well done by Flash Wolves to pull attention to the mid side, then make their way bot.
And
They
just
get
as
the target.
BRU evened up the gold lead, it's 5k again for Flash Wolves.
Flash Wolves the superior macro here. What can I say?
Yep, 100%.
Playing for that late game. They know what needs to get done. BRU. Can I say they're happy with stalling? I don't know anymore.
It's a really tough one to call, right? It really comes down to do Koki Soraka scale better than Senna Nasus? And if you ask me that question, I'll tell you very simply. The answer is, I have no clue. No idea.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't think
Soraka
most,
scales pretty well, but
I don't
so
think
does
most
Senna.
people would know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a Soraka.
And it's a surprise, no doubt. Flash Wolves were caught off guard in the second game, but know what's coming this time around.
Man, but Eason is just, he's so confident right now because they know he cannot die. He knows it's going to take them so long to kill him. Look at this.
Infinitely tanky, but a stone plate popped a
Oh,
little
he
bit
might
late.
die
As the
now.
ultimate coming through. Eason has to flash away. Noel dives in, but he's only able to hit the one target. Goes into stasis. The hourglass comes over. Taken down here by Bruce.
Man, Eason just doesn't die. Bruce might have to flash though.
That's the hourglass. Flash over by the side. Archony held in place by Flash. Was Eason quickly running over as well. Looking once again. Gold card locked and loaded for Archony. But there's no card going to take down. Flash forward. Bruce wants to
That's
kill the
it.
triple V. The exhaust onto the Corki. Corki needs to flash away. Another catch off onto Golden Feet. Golden Feet goes down.
Golden Feet goes down and the Elder Dragon is up, Grandin. Flash Wolves are gonna do it.
An opportunity here for Flash Wolves with the Elder Drake coming up alive. BRU do not have a way to stop this and pick up the package. They believe that might be the only way.
2 TPs now. Golden Feet 30 seconds away. Noel 10 away. They don't have the timing, Grandin.
10 seconds on Noel and even more for the teleport to come through. Triple V with the package needs to go now. 2,000 left on that Dragon, but the front line is
He's
too
so low.
persistent. Flash Wolves pick up the other Drake over by the back. Triple V nearly goes down.
Noel's
Teleport's
dead.
coming in from Noel. The first Cyclone comes through, but held in by the Hexag Ultimatum. Flash Wolves will pick up 2 on the side of BRU.
There was so much damage there from Noel and Triple V, but he was unwilling to go aggressive, didn't step up. The cocky items at this point are just not enough. If he had maybe one more item, could have maybe tried to clear the team fight. And Noel, rough game for him in the elimination series. Rough game for BRU in the elimination series. 0-8. They have not been able to find a single kill, and I think a large part of that is thanks to the Senna Nessus. They've just been doing such an amazing job soaking up damage on the front line, eating the gold cards.
And even when, in moments where it seems like Eason might go down, where you have to combine efforts from BRU working on the Nasus, Eason just refuses to die and will buy so much time. And now even tankier, the Elder Mountain
they found
Drake,
Jess.
a catch onto
He's
Jess.
dead.
He does not have the flash, meaning Flash Wolves have taken down the Soraka here finally.
And that's about it, Grendon. They might be able to start off the Baron, but I don't even think they need to. I think they're happy right now just answering the front to back, coming to siege you. You cannot even break the Mountain Drake shield on Eason. That's how tanky he is right now.
The Sarah in the bot side draws attention from 3 on the side of BRU. Top side, we see Bruce making his way towards the turret.
It's a rough situation. They're not going to start the Baron off just yet, but Flash Wolves, they could. They just don't want to take the risk because they don't think it's necessary. And they're right, too. Look at the damage that Bruce is doing with these items as well.
Archne's here, spots him out.
They're
Uses
afraid of the
Destiny.
Baron.
Wants to know that the Baron is not going down. He has that information, repositioned to the mid lane. Triple V.
Look at Eason!
Caught here by the Wither. They move onto the Corki. Corki going down, goes into stasis, buying a little bit of time, but watch what happens here as Noel pulled in as well. Brings 2 down.
That's it. That's it for BRU. Triple V, I'm not sure if his Zhonya's was on cooldown. No, I don't think it was. I think he just used it too late. Yeah, but you need to use it to cancel the instance of the Hextech Ultimatum.
Well, BRU.
It's a brutal one for BRU. They have 1 Ocean, 11-0. Baron's likely going to drop right now as well, and this is such a Flash Wolves way to win the game as well. They don't give you a chance to come back in. They don't take any risks. And now BRU backs against the wall on death's door. Flash Wolves likely just going to close this one out. 12,000 gold lead.
And this
Wait,
is what
no, it's more than
happens when you give Flash Wolves a strong position and a late game scaling comp. They get things done. Let's take a look at this one again.
You need to Zhonya's right now on the instance of the Hextech Ultimatum. You need to make sure that doesn't just come out. And then you can use your package afterwards. Use your Valkyrie afterwards to get out of there. A bit of a misplay from Triple V. And in a situation like this, high stakes, best teams in the world, every little mistake will come back to haunt you. Corki sitting on 3 items. Basically everyone on the side of BRU sitting on 3 items. But you look at their counterparts, you look at Flash Wolves, they're all full build.
The response is going to be late. We start to see now quite a bit of utility on the side of Flash Wolves. Cooked with the Guardian Angel. Bruce as
Just
well
so
with
mobile.
the Veil. There's no way to hold them down. BRU quickly run away. Noel's going to go down. The kill going over the locking. Eason chasing after. Gets so much damage down the Spirit Fire. BRU back in base. Archny coming out of the fountain, but can only watch with the gold card as Flash will start to take them down.
And Flash Wolves just go for the Nexus, Grandin.
This is what it means to be the second seed for the WC as Flash Wolves dominate against BRU.
It was such a long, drawn-out series. Flash Wolves had full control of Game 1. BRU, such a spectacular effort to come back in Game 2. But at the end of the day, match point, lives on the line. Flash Wolves just proved that they are cut above Buriram United, who will bow out of the tournament.
And we saw an impressive showing from BRU, but it is Flash Wolves that proved to be the better team here today. An amazing performance and demonstrating to us how experience comes into play, the quick adaptations between games 2 and 3, and the preparation they've done.
Cute
coming into
poses
this
too.
one.
I rate that pretty highly. I think that's like an 8 out of 10 post-game picture.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty good. They look pretty cute.
Who's been 10 out of 10?
I can't recall.
RRQ surely.
RRQ, yeah. Let's say RRQ. You can't go wrong with RRQ. Well, that's another one of our WCS reps waiting for their game tomorrow. For now, it's going to be Flash Wolves securing themselves a matchup against Omega. That's the #1 seed coming out of the World Tour as well. It's going to be a very difficult matchup. They slammed BRU in a convincing 2-0. Let's see what Flash Wolves can do against them.
Well, a bittersweet moment for WCS fans, but we get to see Flash Wolves continue that run and see if they get to win against their opponents tomorrow. BRU with an amazing journey coming in from the play-ins as that first seed, making their way into the group stage, and now facing off against long-standing rivals with the Flash Wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, Flash Wolves, they look happy for once, right? It's not often you see the Flash Wolves squad satisfied with a win, but knocking out their WCS counterparts here. Cookie giving a little kiss to the camera. I like that one. And of course, commiserations to BRU. We have to say goodbye to yet another team. One of my personal favorite teams across the course of the WCS as well. Heartbroken, disheartened, But no doubt they'll come back stronger. This is their first showing on the international stage. Flash Wolves as well, technically, but still.
Well, Flash Wolves are no stranger to competition,
Different
BRU
beast.
as well. But Flash Wolves clearly have that long-standing experience, and that's given them quite a bit of an edge here today, right? Being able to perform so well against BRU. But still so much more to be seen here. It's not the end. Flash Wolves have more exciting matches to come. Tomorrow is not going to be any different. They still need to get the work done. And even today, we still have another exciting match to
That's
come
the one I'm looking forward to. I'm excited for that one.
All right, we have a very bittersweet moment here for WCS fans. So we're going to toss it over to number one WCS fan, Riku, and the rest of the desk to talk about this one.
Is this the outcome you wanted, Riku? It's the outcome you predicted.
It's the outcome I predicted, but it's still sad nonetheless to see
Yeah.
BRU go, you know?
What a game 3 we were treated to, though. My note card is permanently like bent now because of how nervous I was during that game. How close some of those fights were. We didn't have first blood until like 10 minutes in.
It's at the very first Rift Herald fight, or even the second Rift Herald fight, because they traded the first one. And what's interesting to note is that this is a Flash Wolves game all through and through. If it's a slow game, you know it's a Flash Wolves game.
Which is so scary because we open this by saying Flash Wolves, you know, they're looking new, dynamic, aggressive during the early game. And then they demonstrate that when the chips are down, when they need to win a game 3 in order to stay alive in the series, they've still got that gear of, you're not going to do anything, we're not going to do anything. We're going to sit here for 10 minutes.
In a game
And
where
then
nobody
we'll-
does anything.
And then we're going to clean up 11-0 and wipe the board with you.
It was an answer to the Soraka pick, and we now see why they didn't ban it. When it wasn't in that first round of bans, I was like, kick the goat is not the strategy, as TJ called it. But instead, it's go for the Senna, go for the Nasus. They're going to outscale that Soraka, and Senna was still providing a lot of healing in those fights, keeping everybody topped up.
Not only that,
It was us.
Oh!
Just reacting to the match.
Oh, this is This is revolutionizing shoutcasting. Grandin, if you're watching and preparing for your next series, take note. All you have to do is say, oh.
Oh.
So not only was it applying healing, but also you were applying anti-heal. Because the entire time, he had built Mortal Reminder, Executioner's Calling. So the very back of the fight, when that Dawning Shadow goes out and tags everybody, all the healing from the Soraka is reduced.
And take note, the composition of Buriram as well is that a lot of the CC that they have are very single target. There's a lot of mobility on the side of Flash Wolves here, so they can reposition time and time again, reset cooldowns, go back into the fight, and then finish off the rest of the fight, basically.
And now it's Flash Wolves moving forward. TJ, you had said it. Game 1, they played very early. They played aggressive. The Yuumi Darius, they got ahead, and they snowballed that into a victory.
I did say that.
You did say that. Again, I'm all about facts here on the hosting desk. Now they've shown also the tendency to play late. If their opponent's not going to do anything, they're comfortable in that position too. We've seen two different styles work for Flash Wolves, and for me, that gives hope up against Omega because they've shown that they're able to pivot.
It is a good sign. However, Buriram are a slow-playing team. In some ways, this is the perfect Flash Wolves opponent because they are going to get away with this incredibly slow-paced style. Buriram, especially in that game with the Soraka, are always thinking to themselves, we're going to be able to win this. We're going to be able to turn this around because we also have a late-game scaling composition. And I know Omega won't be thinking that way. I know they will be forcing fights early. So in answer to your unspoken question, is this enough? Are they going to be able to turn it around? I don't know. It's going to be a very different match versus Omega.
There is one thing, though, that we haven't seen just yet in this entire series with Flash Wolves that they can use against Omega, which is the big heavy engage coming from Eason combined with Bruce, that big team fight. We did see it once with Azaya and Yuumi, but I want to see the big 5v5 team fights back again, which I think will work perfectly against Omega.
I think against Omega, we're going to see more of Game 1. That's what my expectation is going into that series.
Game 1, though, is reliant on facing an opponent that doesn't punish you for some of the mistakes they made in early aggression. That's what I'm a little worried about. If you remember that weird fight where the locking Xayah got like strangely caught out and like Yuumi was playing around the corner and like all that stuff I think is very scary for Flash Wolves against an opponent that wants to fight you early. So Some trouble ahead, a lot to prove for Flash Wolves, which is not something you expect me to say looking at this scoreboard.
That is the craziest scoreboard I've seen. 13-0, 42, 0, 13-0 on the other side.
And the fact that it's that and also like weirdly split Drakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so insane because the contribution to that, no one was dying on the side of Flash Wolves because of the healing from locking, and on top of that, he was landing every single route. I feel like that's the low highlight there. It basically, you know, Buriram was forced to retreat every single time that landed. There's a lot of follow-up from Isera and as well as from Bruce. It's just so good.
How would we rate Locking's performance overall, as this is our chance to look at him in a best of series?
So good, bestie.
So good, bestie. I love it. That's Wild Rift, baby. That's Wild Rift. You want to have these kind of performances when you show up for the team in those best of series. And now against Omega, we'll see what version of Flash Wolves show up in that series. But again, I think this breathes life into the WCS after a tough loss from Buriram against Omega. Now the Flash Wolves get an opportunity to get revenge for the region. We have one more series for the day, though. So after this break, it's our final match. We'll see you after this.
Welcome back to Icons 2022. Mika Fabs here with Locking from Flash Wolves. Congratulations on that win. Now I have to ask, of course, how it feels to get the W, especially with your first time on stage.
恭喜你获胜哦！那一定要问你一下，就是你第一次上场的一个感想是什么？
哦，我们第一次上场的感想是，就是感觉蛮兴奋的，然后一点也不会紧张，就是喜欢这种感觉，然后也蛮喜欢跟对面碰拳的感觉，因为这种感觉有那种胜利的感觉。
I'm very happy to be on the stage for the first time. I'm not nervous at all. I really enjoy the feeling, and I really enjoy the feeling to fist bump to the opponents.
Oh, that's great. Now, of course, there was a little bit of a struggle in Game 2. Can you tell us what happened there?
那你们第二场的时候有稍微挣扎了一下，有稍微遇到一些瓶颈，可以跟我们讲一下是有什么状况吗？
哦，这个是我们战术上出了一些小失误，就是我们兵线没有处理到特别完善，所以我们下次在打 ONH 的比赛里面应该会着重这个点去做调整。
We made some mistakes. We didn't do so well during the lane facing period, and I think that will be our next focus for our next game.
And speaking of which, how do you feel going up against Omega Esports up next?
那你对于你们下一个对手 OMH 有什么样的看法吗？
我希望他们可以把这个8强的名额让给我们。
I hope they will give us the knockout stage slots.
Oh, love to hear it. Thank you so much for your time, Locking. Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
Flash Wolves.
恭喜你。
Back to you guys on the analyst desk.
I don't know if I'm hoping they give us a spot at the knockout stage. I think you have to take it from them, Locking. I'm pretty sure that's how tournaments work generally. Hopefully, you can shift that mentality going into that next series. But we have one more series on the day. This one feels a little familiar, everybody. Last match, and the only North American team in the stage is facing elimination.